魂を解き放て。ドンドンドン。破壊神降臨。シアゴジラ。ドン。ゴジラならやってくれる。入金。
ウルトラマンの怪獣大決戦場だ。ビルもガスタンクもすごいサウンドで大爆発。ウルトラバトルゾーン怪獣大決戦場。
ゴジラ対キングギドラ。足型シール20枚で怪獣大図鑑がもらえるキングザウルスシリーズポピーより発売中。
Today on Collectible Monsters, we're celebrating Father's Day. We've even got a Toho famous monster father gift guide for you guys. And we're going to be doing a giveaway, plus taking some of your questions. It all starts now. Ikimashou!
Why, hello, and welcome to episode 17 of Collect All Monsters, a live broadcast all about the collectible side of the kaiju genre. My name is Kyle, and I am here with my awesome Avenger co-hosts as well. And they're going to kick things off by saying hello to them each individually, and we're going to talk about anything we've gotten recently. And we're going to start with Mr. Leslie Chambers. What's up, dude?
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another edition of Collect All Monsters. Wow, episode 17. This is awesome. Yes. And I did get a couple things for myself since the last time we were, with each other. But first, before I showcase what I got for myself, I did get something for my awesome wife, Sandra, who's in the chat right now. So, Kyle, if you could fire up those pictures for me, I would appreciate that.
There you are, sir.
As you can see, she is representing.
Nice.
She is representing.
Yeah, girl.
Outstanding.
That's awesome. Aww.
Outstanding.
Oh my god.
And right by her, as you can see, she has a Hedra shirt, a Passion Boy shirt. So yeah, and once again, Collect All Monsters shirt. So I want to give a huge shout out to her. I love you, babe. Thank you so much.
Hi, Sandra.
Styling profiling.
And of course, I did want to represent with the Collect All Monsters official shirt. Oh my God, look at that. This is so great.
Awesome.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
Look at that. Look at that fat, ugly guy right there. Look at all these awesome people right here. And you know what?
Toasted.
And you know what? I wore this over Memorial Day weekend, right? And I saw my mom there. I saw my mom over Memorial Day weekend, and I was showing her my shirt. And she was like, "Oh, that's so great!" But she was like, "Why are you the only one that's looking away from the damage? Shouldn't you be looking towards it?" And I was like, "Mom, the monster was just so hideous. I had to look away from it." But
excellent answer.
But yeah. If you want this shirt, ladies and gentlemen, please go on tpublic.com and get this shirt, courtesy of Robo7 John Bellotti Jr. It is an awesome shirt. Oh my God, I feel so official right now because of my fat, ugly face right there. There you go. There you go.
I love it.
Now, figure wise, I did get a couple figures for myself. And to try to breeze through this, I did get my hands on the Sarazawa. Don't start now. I got my hands on the Rick Death for Real Sarazawa. And of course, once again, this is the Rick because it's the colored version, and it comes with an oxygen destroyer that you can place in Serizawa's hands or take it out, and it comes with the ball open. Now the standards are dropping as we speak, and he's in black and white color, and the ball inside the oxygen destroyer device is closed. So that's the differences between the Rick and the standards of the different real Serizawa. So I got one more thing for myself, and he actually just showed up like 2 seconds before I came up here to do this stream.
Nice.
Last minute box day.
The X Plus 25 centimeter 2002 Godzilla from Godzilla X Mecha Godzilla. And let me just say, I think I got one of the good ones because for what I understand, the Ricks are being dropped as we speak. I don't know when the standards are coming. Hopefully not too long after the Ricks are dropping. But I have seen a couple of people that have like some issues with their 2002. Like I remember seeing one dude, like one eye is wider than the other one. But as you can see here, I don't really have an issue with mine.
It looks great.
But it does look great. I know there was some hesitations about getting this figure because of the jaw thing, but actually in person, it looks really good. Now, before I move on, let me see if the Rick feature work. And I haven't had the best.
Everyone in the chat, cross your fingers now.
Hopefully it's not a 2019 issue.
You better not embarrass me. I'll tell you right now. Oh, it does work. Okay.
Oh, it looks great.
Oh,
wow, now I want one.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, that's so great.
So
now.
And actually, you know what? That's actually how it was in the film. It was more so bluish white, which is exactly what it is right here. But
it is bluish.
This is a great figure. So if you missed out on the pre-order, try and hunt one down. But forget what you heard about the issues with it. I think it's a solid piece, and it's definitely worth your while to go after it. Because, in my opinion, this is one of the better looking Millennium suits of the Millennium era, and they did a great job with this one. So it may not be up there with the Sakai 2002, but it's like a step below it, and that's still not a bad thing. So with that being said, let me kick it over to my main man up there in Seattle, Washington, the one and the only David Ebb Dopko. What's going on, David?
Hey, what's up, Leslie? Hey, everybody. So great to be with everyone this afternoon. I'm going to do my best to channel John Ruffin today because I got more than just one or two things. So let's just jump right into it. So I don't know if I showed this before, but I did get our collectible monster, which is pretty awesome.
We look so good.
We look so good. And I also got this, which I think I showcased on our happy hour.
Oh, I love the pillow.
Just to keep me comfortable
while
for the bum.
Because I've got a pretty, uncomfortable chair, but this makes all the difference.
You're sitting on my face.
Selling in for a nice show. Okay, that's just the beginning. So let's go to my first trip back to Uwajimaya, which is a Japanese shopping center here in Seattle. I couldn't leave without getting a little.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Kind of like a little impulse buy the cash wrap. So
good
pick
one.
That up. This is actually for Keith that I haven't given it to him yet, courtesy of Showcase Dai Kaiju, Sean Lincoln back.
Okay.
This is to add to his growing chibi collection.
Oh my
and I figure
God,
I
he's so cute.
better get him some stuff before he starts taking mine, which is already out.
Yes.
He's not watching the show right now. He's in town getting his haircut, but I'm sure he'll watch this as soon as he gets back. But he's totally hooked now. Wow. And that was for him. And then this is also for him, courtesy of our good friend Dell, one of these guys.
Aw, how nice.
He really wanted one of these when he saw, I think Kyle and Christine did a review on it. And he's like, oh, I want one of those. And of course they were sold out, but Dell had an extra one that he was kind enough to sell to me. So now this is going upstairs in Keith's collection.
Dell's got some really great sleepers, those marmots.
Yeah, he does.
He's got some classic old school ones.
And reasonable, just a win-win all across the board. And then, of course, I talked about this already. The amazing 4K Blu-ray box set. And I know John Ruffin just got this too. And this booklet is just phenomenal. The pictures in here. Let me see if I can go to one real quick. And anyway, it's just like stunning,
beautiful
photographs that I have never seen
clear
before.
photos.
And you know, we even went so far as to buy a new 4K Blu-ray player, which aren't really that expensive these days, so I could watch these movies. And I'll tell you what, it sort of upscales some of the other movies that I already have. The Criterion set looks awesome on there, and the next release from Toho is going to be Mothra versus Godzilla 64. So I'm really looking forward to that. Because, you know, seriously, you guys know this, and if you don't know it, I'm going to say it again. It's all about the movies for me. My love for this stuff, for these collectibles, stems from my love for the movies. So, and the nostalgia factor. So I'm really looking forward to getting the next box set. I won't get them all. I say that now. But I'll get a good amount of them. Definitely Monster Zero and like Royal Monsters, etc., etc. So, all right, let's see. What else did I get? Okay, now this isn't actually mine. Mine's coming this week. This is for I'm doing this for someone. The Billiken.
Wow!
Yes,
is phenomenal detail. I think it passes the X Plus quality. I can't wait to build and paint these guys. This is for a gentleman named Frank Mack, who I think bought one of my Kong build-ups, and he wanted me to do this for him. So I'm going to do this for Frank, and then I'm going to do mine. And John Ruffin is looking for a set. So if anybody has a lead, send it to me. I'm going to do it for John too.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm still going here.
Keep going.
Oh,
Yeah,
David.
And then I got this. This was sort of an impulse buy that, you know, when you're an insomniac and you go in Mandarake, you see things like this. The old school Billiken 30-centimeter Gomez figure, which is really awesome. I got him built, and the mouth is painted, but I still have to do, you know, the rest of the paint job on him. So very stoked to have him. This is actually one of G. Akamoto's favorite kits. He's got one of these too. And I think Kyle asked him, "Are you going to do a Gomez figure?" And he goes, "You know, I don't think I have to, because Billiken already did the best version out there, and now I have the best version out there. Dare I say, quintessential."
I think until something better comes along, that's absolutely the quintessential.
Until something better comes along, that is the cream of the crop. So, and last but certainly not least, this has been a long time coming. And something that I'm really stoked to finally have in my collection.
Oh boy!
The
gigantic
Mechagodzilla 1974.
84 years later.
And about over a year and a half.
Dang.
I was relatively patient, I think. I mean, you guys can tell me I was kind of bitching about it a little bit, but I had the option to sort of like change the shipping to like put it on some boat or whatever, this and that. And I said, no, I better just leave well enough alone and just be patient. But finally arrived. Now, this is going out to anybody who purchased one from Hobby Search and is still waiting. I got an email from them saying that there will be an additional charge for EMS of $30. And as soon as I paid that, it shipped within like 2 days. So if you bought from Hobby Search and you have not yet received that particular email, make sure you contact them ASAP and say you're willing to pay the extra EMS shipping charge, and then they'll hopefully get it out to you ASAP. I just wanted to put that out there in case people are still waiting for theirs, but totally worth the wait. And Leslie, I told you this already. I changed my vote. This is figure of the year. So you're going to have to go back. Maybe next year you can do like an addendum to 2020s. And like, because I know John changed his vote too, unless you already had it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I had it back then.
Enough about that. That's it for me. I think that's it. So pretty good
stuff
for Uncle Dave here. And so I'm just waiting on a couple things. Waiting for my D for Real Sarazawa. That should be coming this week too. And I'm going to hand it down to Christine Chapin out there in California. What did you get and what's going on with you?
Well, I do have one piece of exciting news. I finally got a job.
Yes.
So I'm so excited. I start Monday. I can't wait.
Awesome.
It sounds like an amazing, like perfect job for me. So I'm totally ready to start buying like a ton of toys. Although I've been terrible in slowly buying toys on my credit card. So I've been kind of naughty. But so I did get some stuff here. I got the Deferil Sarazawa. So this is the standard version. And this one comes with the oxygen story that's closed, the black and white version. But I do have actually an open one. So this came with the 30-centimeter X Plus Burning Godzilla. It's the green one. But this one's open, which is cool. And it fits right in his little hand here.
Well, that's neat.
So it perfectly fits in as well, which I thought was cool. So he just came in. I don't drop it here. Oh boy. And then something else came in that I was super excited about. It just came in yesterday. I've been hunting for this forever.
Oh.
The marmot pair oh god, I can't say it. Marmot pair of babies. Titanosaurus with the little submarine.
Yes.
It popped up on Mondo. Okay, I had it on my watch list for a while, but I got to Vanna White him here for a second.
I love the color.
Yeah. Show you what you've won.
But oh yeah, so stoked to finally have one of these. I've been wanting one forever, and yeah, I showed up for a decent price and jumped on that. And then I think I showed this off in the group. Finally, I had pre-ordered this, the Funko Pop City Lights Godzilla. I had pre-ordered it back in January on Walmart, and they ended up canceling my order. And luckily, I checked 4 stores. My boyfriend was checking Walmart's for me around here too. And the last store I went to, they had some in stock. So thank goodness I was able to get one. I think it's super pretty. It's got some really nice blue highlights on here. So he goes well with the Kong. And yeah, these are way bigger than, I think I said this about the Kong. I wasn't expecting them to be so big. Well, I'm excited I got that. And I wanted to show off, I got this beautiful artwork. So this is Burning Godzilla from Johnny C. Walker. And definitely go follow his Instagram. He does some really beautiful paintings. So he also sent me because I also love Pokemon. So he sent me a Ponyta.
That's cute.
And a Rapidash, because Rapidash is my favorite. So it's Ponyta and Rapidash. And just to kind of tie it into like Toho and Godzilla here. So Toho actually owns the rights to producing the Pokemon movies. So if any of you guys watch Pokemon, if you notice some of the cries of some of the Pokemon in the movies and in the anime have Toho kaiju sounds. Like there's Mothra's chirps in there. There's some Godzilla roars mixed in. King Ghidorah, Anguillus. So that's always, I mean, I love Pokemon and love Godzilla, so it's cool to have them kind of all together. And I feel like I have one more thing I had to show off. Oh, well, I mean, the new, even though I know we had our Tiki Hour last month, but so this is the new 2021 Godzilla Tiki mug. So I'm sipping a little ice water.
Yeah, that's ice water.
So ice water out of this guy right here. But these are actually, I think, releasing this month. So really fabulous, sculpted by Hector Ars. They have, I think this is the colorway that was sold out. I know they have the black variant. I think it's still up on the website. So definitely recommend picking up one of these because they're awesome. So that's all my goodies that I've got so far. So let's kick it down to John. Let's see. I know you probably got a ton of goods that
No, not
came
that
in,
much.
so I'm always excited to see what you got.
I don't have that much this time, but it's great to be with you all. I'm always honored, and I love this time that we have together. It's been good here in Philly. It's been hot, and then we've had a lot of rain, and now it's coming back to the sun again. And with that, let's see, what do I have? Let's see, where should I begin? Well, along with you all, I've got the Sarazawa, the Oxygen Destroyer, which is cool. Love it, love it. It's great to have character figures now.
Yes, yeah.
You know?
And it looks really, I put mine with the gigantic 54 and they look really cool together.
Yeah.
And more.
I didn't get that one.
That whole Maniacs line.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I will go broke. I did get the color version, the Rick version. I just haven't taken out the box yet. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
I might have to do that. I like that open Oxygen Destroyer.
I started collecting the glasses.
Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah, I have to get some more. And
next happy hour, John.
Yeah, right.
You can use one of those.
Right. I can never go without some books, so I got another Showa classic book to my collection. This is old, but didn't pay that much for it. Happy to have that in the collection. And here's the big thing. Oh, and like David, got the Godzilla,
Nice.
King Kong versus Godzilla Blu-ray.
Sweet.
But
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
But this is the main item I'm happy to have. Finally, took a little while, but got it worked out. Is the model kit.
Oh, nice, dude! Congratulations.
Did you do the art for that? Did you do the box art for that one?
Yes. And
Oh,
so it's
cool.
good to see it in person and to have one.
Wow, that's exciting.
That's great.
I think that's it.
That's it, John.
Mhm.
God, wait a second.
I actually have more than you.
Something's not right here.
I can go find some more, I'm pretty sure.
Just got to go to your mailbox, right?
I'm holding some stuff back.
Right on, man.
So let me pass it off to you, Kyle. It's just good to be with you guys.
All right, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I'm so thrilled to have all my homies here. Like, we have had this is a wonderful time over the past year and a half now. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I don't have anything that I have something I really want to share, but I think I have to wait until next month to share it. But I've been working on a project, and when you guys hear about it, you're gonna be stoked. But I can't talk about it right now. So what I will do instead of sharing cool things that I've been working on is I will share some cool things that I got. And I don't know about you guys, but Bandai's been knocking it out of the park recently.
Oh yeah.
I have decided that I'm just going to be a Bandai guy for a little while.
Hey.
They have consistently put out really solid representations, as far as I know, of Godzilla's singular point kaiju. And I figured this is the time to do it, right? I haven't seen the show yet. I'm just going to go ahead and get all the figures.
Yeah.
Once they're in, and you know, in a couple of weeks, the show's going to be coming out, and I'm going to, you know, blast through it in no time. But yeah, I just wanted to get all the figures. Showcase collectible or Showcase Kaiju is where I got these guys. And of course, big thanks to Sean Lincoln back. I'm going to be getting the new blue one as well. I'm essentially going to get every single one they release. Kind of like what they did with Final Wars, when I was like, I don't have that much money, guys, but I'd make a little bit more money than I did in 2004. So I'm super happy that these have come out. I have a question for you all, though. Do you guys collect the Bandai figures? Like, do you have a bunch of old Bandai figures? And if you do, what do you do, my co-hosts, and actually people watching? Like, what do you do with the tags? Because I think I've been keeping them on for years and years and years, and I am almost at the point where I'm ready to just snip and put them in the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I only have a few Bandai. I do have the Burning Godzilla one. That one I have the tag on. It came with a little Tommy dancing Godzilla guy. But all the rest of them I don't have a lot of Bandai, but the rest of them I took the tags off.
How about you, David?
I have one that's tagged. The rest I usually keep all my tags and header cards and bags like in a box in my closet. So that's where the rest of them are.
Yeah, I do have. I have all these like little cubbies here, right? This is the cubby collection, so everything's a cubby hole. So on the bottom shelf of some of these things, I have the little cubby drawers that you can get from IKEA or where have you.
Nice.
And so one of those is absolutely jam-packed with header cards that have been wrapped up in their bags and categorized by manufacturer so that I can easily find them.
Yeah.
But yeah, David, I know you have a lot of Bandai stuff. Like, you're a snipper, right? You clip those tags off?
Yes and no. Actually, I snipped all of my cards off for the classic Bandais, but I put them in the protective sleeve.
Good move.
And I display them in front of the figures.
Nice.
So
that's
my
a good
favorite
idea.
ones, the classic ones, the first ones that came out, I display them right in front of the figures, kind of prop them right up, and they stay there. And then most of the other ones, the tags are all off, and they're in a box safely, in protective sleeves. And then lately, the Bandai Premium, which isn't the exact same company as Bandai, which we talked about before, I've been keeping them on the figures. So, for example, the Godzilla statue figure, I have that one on. I have the 54 that Corey Cromer brought me back from Japan. I kept that one on. The King Ghidras, I kept those on. So I'm keeping them on for the Bandai Premiums. Although I did take it off from Jet Jaguar for some reason. I took his off because you can change the arms.
Yeah.
It's weird, right? Like I want to take them off, but at the same time, I've kept them on for so long. I'm seeing a whole bunch of people here in the chat room, which we will give you guys the proper shout outs in just a second. But like, people saying like still having them attached, keep the tags on. It's just like off and on. Like some people are like yes, some people are like no.
There's no right answer. It's whatever you feel. I definitely think you should save the tags.
I will definitely save them. I would not throw them away. But if I was just gonna go through and clip them all,
I know some people bought those actual devices where you can stick the tag back in if you want to resell it. I'm not
really?
Yeah,
I never plan to sell mine.
You know,
Samsung. This Ghidra, this was an upgrade a few years ago, and I did not take the tag off of this because this is cool. Classic figures. This was my grail for the longest time. So
Samsung actually suggests using a hairdryer to heat up the vinyl so you don't actually cut the plastic tab. So you literally just would pop it right out. If you get the vinyl flexible enough, totally makes sense. If it's older, I'd be really concerned about potentially like ripping the vinyl. But I hear you, man. That's a good idea.
It is a good idea, but I think that's only necessary if you plan on reselling it. Having that little piece in there. I'm really happy with the choices. I don't regret what I've done. I think they look better off, but they're great on too. It just depends on your sensibilities and what you like. How about you, Leslie? Do you have any Bandais?
Yeah,
I used to collect Bandais, but when I got me a better job, I was like, I want more higher price figures. Now, I don't mean to say that. I don't mean to say that like I'm better than everybody, or if you still collect Bandai, hey, that's on you. But I did start out with Bandai, and as far as the tags, I didn't care about the tags. I ripped them off, and I actually gave a couple of figures to my daughter, and she was like playing them, like smashing them around and whatever.
That's what they're designed to be.
Yeah. So, but I can understand both arguments. I can understand why the tags can be viewed as valuable, why the tags cannot be viewed as valuable. I look at it like if the tags are viewed as valuable, that's no different than me keeping my S Plus boxes. And some people feel like the boxes don't have any value once you get the figure. So I see the arguments with both. But for me personally, when I did have Bandais, I just took the tags off and just kept it moving. What about you, John?
I've kept my tags on all my vintage Bandai just because at this point I would feel bad to just snip it off after all these years. It's been like 30 years.
Yeah, it has. That's a long time.
Yeah, and I don't plan to sell them, but I do when I want to, take photos of them. That's when the problem comes in with the tags.
That's right.
So I have a cleaning
is where I have the problem with the tags.
Yeah,
because I have a couple of figures that have. I mean, I don't have any misconceptions about how much some of these things are worth. Bandai figures may not be worth as much as some X Plus figures or what have you, but the burning Godzilla figure that I have from 1995 is in really good condition, and the same thing with the Destroy-A Crab, which is a phenomenal figure, and like. I want to be able to clean them nicely in the shower or what have you. But man, this tag, I think, I swear to God, I think I spent probably 20 to 30 minutes attempting to come up with a system where I had like a plastic bag sealed around the tag. Oh,
yeah.
That's one of the reasons I'm kind of like asking you guys, like, what do you think?
See, I had the same dilemma with cast figures.
Yes, because they have those
off, John. They come off.
I do take them off, but sometimes with some of them I haven't because I'm like, these are too expensive, and I don't want to ruin the value, even though I don't intend to sell them. So you really got to know why you got to weigh it out.
The cast figures are so small that tag just distracts so much from it, So I can't. And I try not to look at them as ornaments. I try to look at them as like little statues. So I take that. I almost said a bad word. Take that stuff off right away.
One more thing I want to save them. I take them off, but I save them.
Oh, you're a better man than me. I don't save that.
You don't save them, David?
Oh no, not the cast figure stuff.
We're talking about the little plastic, little tag loops. Not the tags
things. Oh yeah.
One more thing I want to say about the Bandai tags, though, is what's interesting is when I look through them, a lot of them have the old price tags and the stores that I bought them in.
Yeah.
Ron, you
Yeah.
appreciate this.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
I have one, I think it's the Godzilla 1992 figure that I got at a store in Chinatown in New York City called Waku Trading. And it has the logo of the store on the little tag.
Nice.
And it was $8.90. So
Aw.
that's the kind of thing that, is worth keeping it for anyway, to sort of like remember where you were when you bought that figure and how much it was and how much, like, that was a lot of money back when I was living in New York. Oh, that's $10. Oh my God. But this is like going way back. So the nostalgia factor is really strong with the tags, but I don't necessarily need to have all of them on the figures. So yeah, whatever.
The speaking just to the price tag situation, I actually had a Gorosaurus, Bandai Gorosaurus figure that I just sold like maybe a couple years ago, and it had the original tag but also had the original Japanese sticker price on it, so it was like 700 something yen.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And it was like right on the price tag on the tag. It was a kind of a cool little thing to have in the collection for a little while. But upgrading, etc. Anyway, thanks for pontificating about the whole tag stuff with me. Great to get into a little discussion at the top of the show. Leslie Chambers, are you ready to help me do some chat room shout outs? I will go ahead and get started because I have an assistant here on the right hand side. I can start by saying, what's up, Helmy and Chris Hallett and Kaijumi Addict, Andrew Roebuck, Jonathan Portman, Greg Benton, Sandra Chambers.
I love her.
You know who that is.
I love her.
John Parkinson, Alex Sawyer, James Newell, Larry Latham, Joey, what's up, dude? Kaiju Battle is here. Robert Dwyer's watching. Demon by Design. Albert Escobedo. Liam Foley is here. Gordon Flynn, if I didn't already say hello to you. All right, I need take over, Leslie.
All right, you got Alex Sawyer, Ryan Chitwood, Larry Latham. What's going on? Eric Stoke, I hope you're enjoying your gigantic Mecha Godzilla.
Yes, Aaron, loved your video.
Oh my God. Paul Plutzker,
that was great.
Godzilla Train 1090. Adrian, what's going on, man?
Adrian.
Kaiju Battle, Jason Leardy, Liam Foley, John Parkinson, James Newell. Just a lot of folks enjoying Collect All Monsters, and we hope you're enjoying the show.
53 people watching live.
Thanks. Wow, thanks,
Samson
guys.
West. Samson West is in there.
Samson, happy
West.
birthday, Samson. His birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday,
happy
Sam.
belated, Sam.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Awesome.
All right.
Right on. Well, dude, thank you guys all for watching us live. We really appreciate this. We really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with us for the next however long this ends up going. I think we are going to go ahead and move into our first bit here after Show and Tell, which is our news. So we'll roll that beautiful news footage. Hey, we're going to talk about some cool new releases that have been at least recently talked about online. I am going to be going, we're going to change the order a little bit here. Hang on, John.
What's going on here? We're all out of whack.
John, I need you to literally be the last news because yours dovetails in with segment 1. So, behind the curtain stuff for the viewers. Leslie, what you got for us for your news item?
Yes. I want to talk about Prime One Studios, or as I like to call them, pimps. Because that's exactly what they are. Because B, you better have my money. They are trying to get our money. Oh my God, they showcased a few things over the past month or some change, but the one I'm going to talk about in particular is, of course, the ultimate diorama based off the new MonsterVerse film, Godzilla versus Kong. Yes, with the ultimate diorama where it shows Godzilla and Kong in their Hong Kong battle. Yes.
Yeah.
The diorama set, is a uniquely, superbly detailed set with high-rise skyscrapers with neon lights in them and explosions and all that good stuff. And you have, of course, the King of the Monsters, Godzilla, 2021, 19, whatever. And he comes up with the awesome light-up effect. Actually, you know what? His light up effect is just like how it was in the MonsterVerse films. Remember how whenever Godzilla is about to discharge his atomic breath, his dorsal plates will light up from the end dorsal plate on the tip of his tail and rise up in sequential order to the main dorsal plates on his back, and then the beam comes out of his mouth. That's basically what the light up effect of this Godzilla is in this piece. Then you have Kong. Yes, Kong. I'm sorry you lost, but still. All right, I gotta keep going here. I gotta keep going. All right, Kong. He comes. He's like he's perched on top of a building. He's about to pounce on Godzilla, and he also comes with a light up weapon. His axe, a light up weapon axe. And you get this awesome diorama between these two icons for the low price, ladies and gentlemen, of $56.99. No, I ain't talking about $56.99. I'm talking about $5,699.
Look at that light up though. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is a cool piece. It's a cool piece.
I'll say it's worth it.
But let's be real. Let's be real, ladies and gentlemen. This is $56.99. That's almost $6,000 if you count shipping, right? And you know what? Let's do the math. Let's look at the other stuff right fast. Let me just do the math on that, all right? Because they also, in addition of selling this piece as a whole, they also are separate. They're selling the piece separate. So if you want this just a Godzilla with the city background, you can get that for $19.49, which is $1,949. If you want the Kong one, that is $18.99 by itself. But like I said, together they're $56.99. So, but they also, Power One Studios are also doing a replica version of Kong's battle axe, where a living human person can wield it and whack people, which I was going to do, but I decided against that. And that right there is $8.99, $900. Not to mention that they're doing individual busts for both Godzilla and Kong. The Godzilla one is $15.99. The Kong bust is $34.99. So let's do the math on this right fast. Woo! Hold on.
That's a lot of money.
The Kong bust, the Kong bust, the Godzilla bust, that is basically $5,000. The battle axe onto that is basically $5,900. And then $5,900. So, and the diorama piece, the ultimate diorama piece between Godzilla and Kong is $56.99. So basically, if you're going after all this stuff, this is without shipping now, you are spending almost $11,000. Now, if you got it like that, then hey, you know, whatever. But if you got wives, you better talk to her first before you press that pre-order button.
You don't need a new car. You need these.
It will look amazing in Helmy's theater. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Helmy ordered it.
Yes.
It doesn't cost his soul.
So basically, all this stuff, all this stuff looks great, but if Divorce Court looks better, then hey, go for all these pieces and go for it.
Man,
but
put that axe on the wall.
Yeah, but I mean, but seriously, these are great pieces. If you got the money for it, if it's worth it to you, then why not? But
go for it.
I mean, for me, I'm actually passing on all of these because, for one, I don't have the space and I don't want to spend this type of money for it, even though it is, super awesome and all that good stuff. But if you got the money for it, go for it. Also, on a lighter note, and I'm sure everybody can afford this, the movie actually comes out on Blu-ray this coming Tuesday on the 15th. So you're going to get your copy of Godzilla vs. Kong on Blu-ray come this Tuesday, the 15th of June. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to my next man with some more news, the one and the only David Eric Dopko.
Hey. So I'm still a little bit of sticker shock from that last piece. My God.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, I often wonder if that was like a show scene from like Age of the Three-Headed Monster in that scale. Would I shell out that kind of money for it? The answer is maybe. I don't know. And then I thought for a minute, well, I'm not a huge fan of those designs, but maybe I could just buy the cityscape and like switch out the figures, but not for that price. Hell no. Anyway, it's cool, and I can't wait to see how it looks in Helmy's setup because that's going to be
be epic.
Oh my gosh,
epic.
So moving on to my much more affordable news item, This is an item that we talked about. If you guys saw our happy hour that we did a couple of weeks ago, and it's put out by Mondo. Hector actually designed and sculpted this piece. It is, of course, the Mothra statue from Tokyo SOS in the Millennium series. And Kyle's got some images. I think.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Beautiful.
it is a big statue. It's 14 inches tall. I'm not sure of the wingspan. I couldn't find the dimensions of the wingspan,
Beautiful.
but it's only $300, which is actually a drop in the bucket compared to what we just saw.
Super affordable.
Now, you're looking at the deluxe version here with the Mothra twins hatching from the egg. Now, you can switch out that with a plain egg on the deluxe version. The standard version just comes with the egg without the Mothras hatching from it. Now, it's a polystone statue mostly, but the wings are like a softer PVC vinyl, so they won't tend to break in shipping, which is really good. And Hector did say that the antennas are pretty soft, so they're not going to snap off. They don't have the potential to snap off. And there you can see the scale that it is next to Hector. It's a spectacular piece. There's a whole bunch of hidden Easter eggs, pun intended, in the statue. One of them being like a carved out little, I guess it's
the Mothra symbol
of the Mothra twins in the back of the statue, which is kind of neat. So, my husband Keith is a huge Mothra fan, and he really wants this.
Aww.
So I'm going to say when it's available, but please make sure there's one for me. Save one for Uncle Dave, for Keith. We'll also be in big trouble. They will be available for pre-sale this coming Tuesday, the 15th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Mondo will open up the sales for these pieces, and they're $300. I think they will be available maybe from some other companies as well eventually, but Mondo is the only place where you can get the deluxe version of that statue. So I'm stoked. I can't wait to get it. And we're going to have to fight over where it's going to be in his collection room, his growing collection room, or mine. So, or maybe she'll land in the living room. Who knows? We'll see. But first I have to get it. So wish me luck. And I give luck to anybody else who wants this awesome piece. Hector was really kind to share a lot of that information with us on our happy hour.
For sure.
And he's a super talented artist and sculptor. And
she'll look good with this.
What's that?
She'll look good with this.
Oh,
yes, she will.
That's
yes,
right.
Will.
Remember?
And now, Leslie, now that you showed me that, excuse me, I think I need to get that as well because that looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, it does.
Now, let me ask you. Now, are the pre-orders opening on Tuesday, or is the figure going to be able to be purchased on Tuesday?
The pre-orders open on Tuesday. I'm not sure of the actual shipping schedule for that particular piece. I think it might be not too far out from the time. Kyle, do you have any more intel on that? I mean, I tried to find it, but I couldn't really find any.
I would suggest anybody go watch our happy hour. I think he said it in there, but it's not. They're not too far off. They're really quite close. Like you're only like a month out for normal pre-orders from them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So she'll be in your collection really soon, and for $300 again, which seems just pennies compared to what we just.
It's like an X Plus figure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a beautiful Mothra, and I think that that is the best Mothra has ever looked on screen.
I agree.
As
I agree.
I agree. The way she looks in Mothra versus Godzilla '64, that rendition of Mothra is just spot on, perfect with the hair and the way the wings move and everything. And Keith and I actually just watched the movie last week. We're doing something called Super Sci-Fi Saturday. We copied from MeTV, and so I'm making him sit his ass down and watch a sci-fi movie. Mostly Godzilla, Toho, Ultraman, something like that. But maybe it's a cheesy American sci-fi movie. We're going to do that every Saturday night, which is tonight. I'm not sure what we're going to watch tonight, but
Sea Monster.
Maybe good idea.
Maybe Sea Monster. Maybe Sea Monster. But anyway, yeah, that is my news item. So Tuesday, set your calendars, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Get yourself a beautiful Mothra statue.
Wait, everyone else needs to set it for like 11:15, so
That's
you
true.
can get yours.
That's right. Yeah.
I should have said 11:15.
It all goes down at 12 p.m. Pacific.
You got to keep it real. You got to keep your toy karma good because so far, fingers crossed. But Anyway, Christine, what's your news item for this week?
All right. Well, again, I'm coming at you with the awesome Safubi news. So, from Marusan is again coming out with a beautiful, glittery blue Biogoji. So, the Biogoji is actually a newer sculpt they've done. And it actually scales with, well, you can't see her up there, but the 450 Marusan Violante. So, this is going to be a lottery figure. It's at a pop-up shop in Tokyo. So the only way to get this one is you actually would have to be in Japan or have someone in Japan enter the lottery for it, which you send in an email to Marusan with like the date and the time that you want to enter. And so he'll do a lottery, draw some numbers. If your number gets chosen, then you are able to go to the event in Tokyo, and you have a half hour to go in the shop and buy anything that's in there. So they don't only have the schedule, they have like a whole bunch of other stuff. They have little mini figures. But I'm very excited about this one because I love blue and I love glitter. So if you're unable to have someone go to the show for you, keep an eye out on Yahoo Japan Auctions because they usually show up there. So the last day to enter is June 14th. And then the drawings will take place on June 14th. And then the lottery or the shop is open on the 19th, which is Saturday. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I mean, I think it's really cool that the figure pairs with the giant Violante he just did, with the Rose Violante and the evolved form. So it's going to be around, at the show, around probably $100. Hopefully on Yahoo it won't be that much more after, but June 19th, man, I'm going to be on Yahoo Japan Auctions all day. Because you guys just give me a little time to get on there first. I need one of these ones. I've been waiting for a blue one. I've been waiting for a glitter one. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong here with this figure. I'm super excited about it. And I think it's really cool that he's finally doing some new sculpts. He's finally doing some more Heisei era figures. So that's really exciting to me because most of the stuff he's put out has been older sculpts from the Showa era. So it's nice to see Marusan bringing us with some new figures and all that. All right, so I'm going to kick it on over or down, left or right, up to John.
No, actually, you're kicking it to me now, actually.
Oh, wait.
John's got
that's why John's last.
We've got a weird situation here this time, guys. It's
feels this way.
All right, guys. So my news segment for this month is basically you kind of saw a little bit of what I'm going to talk about in our last episode. David and John earlier held up their King Kong versus Godzilla Blu-rays, which are from the 4K transfer. These are, of course, for anybody who's not familiar, the sizing of everything went SD, which is where you're watching a normal DVD. Then you get to HD, which is like 720p and 1080p, which needs bigger TVs and stuff. And then you've got your 4K stuff. The 4K stuff that's what 4,000 pixels tall, I believe, is what it is. That doesn't matter so much. It's just bigger and bigger and bigger. And because this has been such a boon for I guess what I would say is everybody who's been watching Toho with their awesome releases. So we've got I'll do a screen share here as well. 1 second. So in addition to the King Kong versus Godzilla, as David mentioned, Mothra versus Godzilla is coming up next. These are images that August Ragoni shared. Incredible. I think he also shared them from someone else too. But basically, just a couple of examples here of what these are looking like.
Oh my
God. Honestly.
Oh my gosh.
Even watching it in this show format with the small screen inside of our small screen, I would just urge people to look at the original images. I know that I have been this one shows a very good example of the difference between what you saw on the King Kong versus Godzilla from the Blu-ray that was released by Criterion and the new stuff, the new 4K transfer.
Yes.
The old stuff on the left-hand side, it looks a little blurry. it's like you never would have even questioned it until you see the new stuff, you know.
Look at that.
Wow. Oh my God.
It's incredible.
But you know, this part is actually great, and that's not actually what I want to focus on, because I'm very excited that this bandwagon has started rolling in Japan, because the next things that are coming up that are under my sphere of, you know, my bubble is the Daimajin series, the Gamera Showa series, and if that's not enough, the Yokai trilogy, which I am 1,000 million% stoked to see get a better treatment. This is sort of the 4K presentation for the Daimajin series, and then this is I gotta get my iPad out here, because the second part of this news involves a film festival that's happening in Japan, and this will be taking place at the where is it, July 16th and I believe July 23rd. You have 30 different things being screened here. Okay, so I was actually I was like, oh cool, the 3 Daimajin films, the Gamera films, and the 3 yokai films, but it's not just that. You've got the 3 yokai films plus the Takashi Miike remake from 2005, Yokai, Great Yokai War. And then I'm looking down this list from this Twitter post, and I was like, wait a second, I don't even know these movies. So the Ghost of Oiwa, a bunch of like ghost movies I've never heard of, and sci-fi movies I've never heard of.
Those are always
Kaidan Yukijiro, Botan Lantern, Kaidan Tsuruga Fuchi, the mosquito eating bird story. And then there's a whole spectacle. I don't even have posters for these things. Like I said, I just found us, like, what was it, yesterday I posted it in our group. And like this is amazing, because if these turn into physical media that we can get here in the States, I will be collecting these monsters. I tell you.
Oh, you and me both.
I love Japanese ghost goblin stories, and the stuff like the lady from the well and all those stories. Good stuff. So that's what I'm super excited for. And you will be able to check our show notes for more information about what we talked about. And as we always say, we are just covering like one item each. There's so much information that comes out month to month. I highly suggest you check out kaijubattle.net.
Yes.
Michael Ferris' website,
he's on
where
top of
basically
stuff.
he tosses out every single piece of news you could even imagine for kaiju related stuff. Mostly I use it for the collectible stuff, but yeah, definitely check out kaijubattle.net. Good stuff. And of course, shout out to Michael Farah, one of our viewers. Okay, actually, there is one more news item before we go to John. David, you wanted to cover an extra thing for this month specifically.
Oh, are we doing the Pride celebration?
Yeah, this is where we do the Pride.
Sure. So yeah, I forgot that we we're gonna do this right now, but anyway, cool. Yeah. So as many of you know, June is Gay Pride Month, where we celebrate our fellow LGBTQ plus collectors, and we kind of put the word out for the people that are in our group to send us photos of them with their favorite collectible or their partner or somewhere in Japan, and we compiled a little photo presentation that Kyle's going to show right now. I just want to give everybody a shout out and happy Pride. Keep it real. You know, it's a great community, and I'm happy to be a part of it. So hats off to all you guys.
Yeah, thank you for doing that too, David.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I mean, hopefully one day in a perfect world, we wouldn't need to distinguish that we are LGBTQ plus collectors, but we need to have visibility, and we need to say someone who's watching, who's a little kid, who's a collector, and might not feel like they belong. You definitely belong. If you're having a hard time, it gets better. Reach out. You know, we're all here to help. I'm definitely here to help. I've been around the block a few times, and it's just great to see so many people that wanted to put their face out there and represent our awesome community. I can't speak. So again, thanks so much. Happy Pride. Rock on. More power to you. And
That's awesome.
we always have your back here on the show, all of us. So
Absolutely.
I can speak for everybody. Anyway, thanks for listening, and happy Pride.
Of course. Absolutely. Well, that is going to take us, not as it's only Pride Month, but we also have John, who's going to share with us some cool news from our good friends at Toho.
Yes. So we in a couple weeks we have Father's Day coming up. Now, my father passed back in 1998, and it was just a few years after my first trip to Japan, during which, I won out of one of those UFO catchers. You really can't see it. I got my dad a Godzilla tie, so I keep it, my collection just as to remember him. But Toho this year has put together a guide to help us figure out what gifts we can get for our dads, that reflect our passion and love for Godzilla. So with that said, Kyle, you awesome. You're ahead of me. So make your dad's day this upcoming Father's Day with the perfect gift. The Dad-zilla in your life deserves the best to make their day.
Cute.
So let's see what they've lined up for us. So Amazon, which you probably already know, has the official Godzilla Toho shop. And so they have exclusive merchandise that's available there. T-shirts, bags, all that kind of good stuff that they've already had for the last few months. Then you can go to Hero Within, and they have some cool jackets.
Cool.
And you can see below the prices, price range.
Nice.
You can find your dad a cool jacket. We have Uniqlo, which I love Uniqlo. They have a Godzilla World Collection set up. Let me get this out the way. So they have some cool T-shirts. I really love this Mecha Godzilla shirt. And let's see, Amazon again. You may have seen this. They have these wireless earphones that have the Godzilla voice patterns in it. Very cool. $80 it's retailing at. And I've already started building up a collection. I could show the other. I have two Pop Fun Godzilla Toon Tumbler pint glasses. They're pretty cool. And I got one a couple weeks ago.
Can I please mention it's too bad that they used that King Ghidorah. That's the 1972 King Ghidorah on that glass, and he's like in the worst shape of his life.
Yes, yes.
The equivalent of having a 1970s era Elvis glass.
Good using point. A 91 topography for his name.
Yeah.
True.
And then there's the comic IDW publisher, Godzilla and Natural Disasters. You can get that on Amazon as well if your dad likes comics. And then Mondo has obviously the cool Godzilla and Kong Tiki mugs. And the FYE has a number of items that you can consume that your dad might love to have. There's an energy drink and some Tabasco
chocolate
sauce.
Bars. They got chocolate bars.
Do I really need a Godzilla energy drink? I might.
They have that new Shin Godzilla one, in Japan. I'd like to try that out. And then they also have a ramen bowl.
Oh, that's cool.
I did not see that. That's awesome.
Not bad. And Amazon, to go along with your tiki mug, they have a sculpted Godzilla ceramic mug, $19. That's another gift your dad might like. And then they have a paperweight at, your dad on his desk can hold down some papers and some bills with this cool Godzilla 67 paperweight.
A fatherly gift for sure.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And then also on Amazon, BioWorld apparel and accessories. This cool throw blanket. Dads will have their dad's chairs. When they're cold, they're sitting watching a movie, and they could have that along with a cool resizable cat. And lastly, Cavity Colors has these cool jogger sweatpants. One leg can battle the other as Godzilla and Kong go at it.
Who doesn't love sweatpants? Sweatpants are amazing.
Absolutely.
Actually, Cavity Colors, they just got the Toho license, and they're going to start doing a lot more Godzilla stuff in the near future.
They are. I see them on Twitter quite a bit. Yeah, getting ready for another announcement here and there. So these are some cool things. You still have a few weeks. Get your dad some cool Godzilla stuff.
Yeah, I mean, John, I'm a doggy daddy, so I should show Weezer and Spanky this segment so they can me. And Keith, I mean, right? Kyle, you're a doggy daddy. Well, you're a daddy and a doggy daddy.
That's right.
So anyway, that's awesome. That's so cool. And I was wondering what that city. What is it? City? What was it?
Oh, Cavity Colors.
Cavity Colors. I saw an image that someone posted. They didn't say what it was about. It was a 54 painting. And I'm like, ooh, what is this going to be? And now I know what it's going to be. It's apparel and stuff. So I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do show-wise or, vintage Godzilla-wise. So that'd be neat.
Yeah.
For sure. Right on. Well, that is going to wrap up our news segment. And the reason John went last is because his Father's Day gift guide, which I think I called it to blend it in with the next segment. Our first segment is the famous Monster Fathers segment, where we're basically celebrating Father's Day by taking a look at some monster fathers and showing off some of our favorite collectibles of those monster fathers and that relationship. But we're also going to talk a little bit about some of our favorite relationships within the movies themselves, fathers and their children. I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, Leslie was over here before, so I'll ask Leslie to show off what. Yeah, that's a really great angle for Mina there.
What's going on there?
He's happy. Look at him.
That angle right there.
Godzilla says that I should fight my own battles from now on. My God, Yogi the Bear? Oh, no. That was Kobayashi. Man, I'm getting my movies mixed up. But he did have like a Yogi the Bear type of tone, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But let me just talk about my favorite collectibles when it comes to Godzilla being a father is, of course, Mania and the 67 Godzilla. And this is the 30-centimeter version of the 67 Godzilla, the Musoku Goji, and of course, Mania. Of course, this actually was the Rick. They brought out this version of Godzilla. Then they brought out like this version of Mania as well as the smaller infant form, the firstborn form of Mania. But when I think of Godzilla as a father, I think about this. Now, of course, a case can be made for 68/69, 95, even Final Wars, right? But I think to me, this was the best version of Godzilla being the dad. And while I was growing up, I enjoyed Son of Godzilla, even though I know coming into the community, I know it's not it's a very divisive film when it comes to fans. Some people love it, some people hate it. Just depends on where you sit on that fence. And I loved it growing up. But once I had my first child, because I got 3 daughters, I got 3 kids. And after having my first child, seeing what Godzilla went through in the film, I did the exact same thing. Like when Godzilla comes to the island and he defends Minya when he's getting attacked or bullied by the 3 Kamacuras monsters or Gigantuses, whatever version you watched. That was basically me. My daughter came to me a few times and said, hey, my dad, not my dad, but these kids are picking on me. You got to deal with that. So as a dad, you got to do what you have to do. Now, I don't suggest you do what Godzilla did, which is pick them up and bash them on the ground where body parts are flailing and set them on fire. Don't do that. But as a dad, I had to do that. I had to, find out what was going on with my child and take care of that. Or when Godzilla is sleeping a lot on the island, like, we do see that in the film. And that's something that I did because with all due respect to the mothers out there, I give you all the credit in the world. Parenting is a full-time job and it can be exhausting, especially if you have a full-time job like I do. And if you do a lot of things, right? And of course, children they don't want to lay around all day. They want to get up and explore the world. They want to do things. They want to be active. And like Godzilla, there were plenty of times where I woke up for a nap, or I went to sleep for a nap, and my daughter was right there, and I woke up and she was nowhere to be found. And I'm looking all around my apartment for her, kind of like Godzilla was in Son of Godzilla. So Son of Godzilla, once I got my first child, Son of Godzilla really made me appreciate the film more and gave me a new perspective on that, which is why I want to talk about this on this show, this particular show, because Father's Day is next Sunday. So with that being said, I want to just give a huge shout out to all my fathers out there, all the collectors out there who are fathers or whatever. If you're doing right by your kids, in my opinion, you're no different than the frontline workers that has helped us during this pandemic. Y'all are heroes. Y'all are heroes. Y'all are unsung heroes in a lot of cases. And if you're not doing right by your kids, it's never too late to do right by your kids. So please get that in check. But to all the fathers out there, for one father to all of y'all, I salute you. And why don't you watch Son of Godzilla in honor of that? All right. So I want to pass it over to my next host. Who's next? All right, David, go for it.
So I'm going to continue the love for Son of Godzilla. I love the movie too. It's a great entry. I love the story. I love the Toho pseudoscience, the Solgel Island weather machine project, where they're trying to foresee the future, which is actually now, when the Earth's climate is changing, and they want to be able to control it so they can grow enough food and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I love the story. The characters are great. They're memorable. Maybe not everyone's favorite Godzilla suit. I actually like it. It's kind of fun. It's different than the rest, but it has its place in the series, in my opinion. And that brings me to my collectible, which is actually the Pilot Ace. That I actually picked up in Japan on my very first trip to Japan in 2006, and my first visit to Mandarake. I saw this in there, and this is back when I was living in California. I used to get a lot of my stuff from Mike Johnson, who lived in California also. And I remember I missed getting this from him, and I was at his house, and I saw this at his house. I'm like, oh my God, that figure is so great. And this exact color variation too. I love the pink and the green. It really stands out. Yeah. And the reason he's kind of bent over like this, because he's so tall, he won't fit on my shelf. So I have to kind of bend him a little bit to fit into the shelf. So yeah, great figure. Christine, I know you're going to be looking for this guy now that you have money.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking for that one for a while.
All you Pilot Ace collectors, beware, because Christine is now on the prowl. So
I know.
Better,
added one more into the mix. I'm sorry.
That's right. But anyway, this is my favorite collectible from Son of Godzilla, and he's a great dad in that film, as Leslie mentioned. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about human characters as fathers in Toho films, and it brings me to another film that is sort of like polarizing. It's Godzilla's Revenge. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people don't understand it. Some people do understand it. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I'm going to focus on Ichiro and his relationship with his father and his mother to some degree. They're great parents. They just can't financially afford to be home with him. So that's the unfortunate part where he's shy and he's by himself. But luckily he has Minami, the kindly toy maker, who befriends him and watches him and mentors him and tries to keep him out of trouble. Not very well, I might add. But he's sort of the surrogate father figure to Ichiro in that film, which is very sweet. And if you watch it in that context as a child's fantasy film and not like a straight up science fiction epic, you might have, view it with different eyes. And, at the very end, his father, proves that he's proud of his son when he knocks over he honks the horn and the painter falls, and his father kind of gives him a pass and goes over and talks to the guy and say, yeah, hey, my son didn't mean it. I'll pay for it, or whatever he says. But it's just a great story. And I suggest everybody go back and watch it again with a little bit of a different perspective. Because it is really fun. It does have a lot of stock footage, and not really my favorite, but it's his dream. It's Ichiro's dream. Yeah, the music is fantastic, and the American opening, March of the Monsters, is really fun too.
Oh yeah,
I remember that as a kid, and just really enjoyed that American opening credits. The ultimate bullying film, exactly, Ryan. Yep,
that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Good lessons.
Godzilla says, I have to learn to fight my own battles. Again, big guys? So, and Ichiro becomes a hero at the end, and he fights his own personal Gabra. And I love Gabra. Gabra's a cool monster who doesn't get enough love. And I'd love to see more representations of Gabra. That's a whole other story. Son of Godzilla, Godzilla's Revenge. Check it out. It's fun. Oh, and one more line I love is this car for sale. Very good. Very cheap. Hey, don't touch that. You'll break it. It looks a little beat up, but it runs pretty good. I mean, that dubbing is just gold. Gold.
It is.
International dubbing is gold. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to pass it down to Christine. What do you got for your Father's Day collectible choice?
All right, so I'm also going to continue along with the Son of Godzilla, but I have the Mark Air Baby, Son of Godzilla set here. So this actually is also one of my favorite movies growing up. I love the music. The whole island theme was really neat, and it's just cute to see. This is the first time that you finally get to see what a baby Godzilla looks like. I remember when I first watched it wasn't what I expected a baby Godzilla to look like, especially when he came out looking like this. Like, what? Looks like a little Kermit the Frog or something.
Oh my God. My co-hosts on the Kaiju cast who were not like Kaiju fans were like absolutely terrified when I showed them that movie. Like, what is that?
Yeah, it's awful. Keith hates it too.
It's ugly.
And I was watching it the other day, and the music. It's like some stupid clown
I
music.
love that song though.
You better step off. Step off.
No, it's got great music, and like the suit does look a lot different. Like you could tell, like I think they tried to make it look a little more like friendly to children and all that. He's got a very pronounced brow up here, and then a very like thin nose. So it was huge change to the suit, I think.
He was made to look like Mania. That was the purpose behind it. He was made to look more so like Mania.
Yeah. So they have like both the very big, large brows and the short snout. But one cool thing about this figure is, so this is the Superfast 2003 exclusive, but you can put Mania on his tail, like the scene where he comes and saves Mania when he's hatching out the egg from the Kamakuras that are bullying him. And so then he offers his tail to Mania to kind of drag him away from the scene. So I think that's cool. And then you can also, if you want, like put him on his head or whatever.
That's great.
It's really neat. So and this was sculpted. I got a shout out again to one of my favorite sculptors, Masami Yamada. He sculpted this figure, and he sculpted the very famous Marmot Desugoji. And one thing that I did want to point out about the figures that he sculpts is, I don't think I can show it to you, but on each of his sculpts, he puts a little Y hidden in there somewhere for Yamada. So on this one, it's right here between the legs. But I think it's really neat. Like usually he'll put it at like sometimes at the bottom of the door.
I never knew that.
So that's his little mark. So if you like look very closely, you can see a very tiny Y. And
I love it.
That's his little mark there.
There it is.
That's so cool.
And it's the Desugoji. It's at the base where the spines meet the tail. And the Marmot Godzilla 2000, he also sculpted that one too. I believe that one's at the base of the tail as well. But yeah, this was a movie that me and my dad watched all the time. And my dad's favorite part is where Godzilla is teaching Minya how to blow his radioactive fire, and all the smoke rings come out. That was his, and then he stomps on his tail. So I mean, I think I think that is the, I'm going to steal David's word, quintessential Godzilla Father's Day film. You really see Godzilla, protecting his child, teaching his child, how to defend himself in the world. And I do want to give a shout out to, I have really quick, we're going to compare the Showa series to the Heisei series. So, first we started out with Baby Godzilla, and then we have Junior here. So I really like the relationship. You don't really see them interact too much, but the scene where Junior dies and he's killed by the destroyer crab, and then just the pain that they have, Godzilla, like with the emotion, you can tell like he's really upset.
He was actually crying.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, I still cry when I watch that. And then he's pouring his life force into Junior to keep him alive and to keep him going. I mean, I think that's I can't even imagine devastating to lose a child. But I mean, it worked because Godzilla poured his life force into Junior, and then at the end we see Junior is a full-grown adult. So that I had to recognize that because I'm a big Heisei fan and I love Godzilla versus Destroyer, and I'm a huge fan of Junior. I think he's so cute, and it's just so cute, how he's learning how to battle, and he's finally battling with Destroyer, and he gets his butt kicked, but he's still up there fighting, and Godzilla comes to back him up and help him out. And so on the human side of things, I wanted to point out the relationship between from Terror of Mechagodzilla, Dr. Mifune and his daughter Katsura. I think I have a few pictures in there, Kyle, but I think that's also a very tragic relationship as well. So Dr. Mifune and his daughter Katsura were very close, and him and his wife were the only ones that supported him through his research when everyone else was against him. And so she was there, Katsura was there helping him on all of his research, and then she, got electrocuted, and the aliens came and rescued her and brought her back to life as a cyborg. And she still continued to work with her father, and they had a great relationship working together. And then it was sad again that when she died again, and then the cyborgs again brought her back to life, only this time they put more machinery in her to actually control Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla. They put the brain of Mechagodzilla inside of her. And Dr. Mifune had that struggle of, now his daughter is controlling this machine that's destroying the world. And then I thought, that was a great relationship, but it was also tragic as well because she fully supported her father. They supported each other, and he was devastated when, she was first killed helping him work on his research, and then she was brought back to life to the aliens. And then again, and now she's in control of this terrible beast that's destroying the world, and then he died, and then she eventually had to kill herself to get rid of Mechagodzilla. But it was a sad and another showcase of a tragic father relationship in the films.
You know what that's the thing, and I agree wholeheartedly with what you just said, Christine, but when you sit down and think about that, they didn't believe him when he said that he found a dinosaur in the ocean. Right. Meanwhile, you're living in a world that has 3-headed space dragons, cyborg space chickens, fire-breathing dinosaur.
No love for Titanosaurus living in the ocean, though.
But we're not going to believe a super dinosaur exists. Okay. All right. Hey, it's Showa, so it's Showa. So
hey.
We can forgive some things with
Showa. You can do anything.
Oh, it's the best.
All right. Who's next? John?
Oh, and kick it off to John.
I think so. Okay, so I'm not going to pick a father-son team or relationship in front of the camera. I'm going to go behind the camera and talk about the father and son team. A father who influenced my life and everyone else's experience about Godzilla and what Godzilla would be. So I selected Eiji Seburai and his son Hajime, and he had two other sons as well, and a daughter that was, I think, passed early, in her life. With that said, growing up in the 70s all the way up to 80, I didn't know about Seburai and only through magazines, and everything I learned about Godzilla was always centered around Seburai. And it was like, wow, Seburai is so important. And also not only to Godzilla, but to Ultraman. And I didn't realize until I had these few magazines, Here This Fantastic and other imaginative media and Fangoria and things that mentioned him, I would have never made the connection with who Seburai was. But he became so important to the extent that I've had a picture of Seburai on my wall for over 2 decades. I have a picture of my dad, and I have Seburai and Satsuma, the Godzilla live, all together. 3 photos have been hanging on my wall for years. And on the show, I wear this hat as a tribute to Seburai as well.
That's awesome.
Because I'm just feel that connected. But with that said, we all pretty much know Eiji Seburai and the impact that he had. We commemorate and remember his birthday every year. And we know him as the father, virtue of really Godzilla and Tokusatsu. what he did behind the scenes to bring Godzilla to life changed the world of special effects, changed Japanese, movies, and then what we know as tokusatsu. And Ultraman was born, in the 60s. Later, when he started his own company, Subaraya Productions. He worked on 56 films until his death in 1970.
I know that.
And so I've quite a bit of items representative of Subaraya. Many of us have the Sofubi figure of Subaraya. There's another one I wish I could get my hands on where he has the hat on, but
I need that one.
Ultraman one. So I have little bits and pieces of Subaraya. I have a number of books that I'd love to. One of these days, I'm going to start translating through some of them the best I can. There's a little comic version of his life and Ultraman in this. Really cool for kids, but great for non-Japanese speakers. And I can't say enough about Augustus Ragone's tome on Eiji Subaraya. Read this last night and this morning and learned so much more that I did not know. There's also great books about manga form. This is like featuring great persons in history, and he's one of them. And another great book. This is just, Subaraya. So many great texts and books on Subaraya. But recently, I was able to find a sad, but something I'm really proud to have found and glad and happy to have, is virtually is like an obituary that was published 2 days after his death in the Chunichi sports newspaper. I found this on Buy Japan and was just happy to have it. I do have a translation of it up on my website at mykaiju.com if you want to check it out. So that's something, that I'm happy to have in my collection. But now let's turn to a less familiar son that also had a great impact on Godzilla and Ultraman. Is his son, Hajime Subaraya, who's his eldest son. His other sons are Noboru Subaraya and Akira Subaraya. But his oldest son, Hajime, was born in 1931. And he was a screenwriter, and he wrote under a different name. So if you see that name, Azuma-san, that's Hajime. Another thing I didn't realize, he wrote the lyrics for the Ultraman theme.
Wow, really?
Oh,
Isn't that
that's
amazing?
cool.
Yeah, I learned that this morning. I was like, oh my gosh. And matter of fact, that was in, where did I read that? That might have been in August's book. And he also worked along with his dad on Godzilla 1954 and Godzilla Raised Again that followed. He was an assistant special effects cinematographer. So that just tells you how, close he was and his eye right along giving us a view on Godzilla. And in 1959, he joined TBS television, which brought Ultraman to Japanese television. And in 1970, when his father Eiji passed, he left TBS and he became the president of Subaraya Productions. And later he would serve as a producer. Along with Hajime and his brother Noboru, they produced many of the Ultra series that we know, like Taro, Ace, Leo, and more. And sadly, Subaraya, Hajime, he died in 73, but he has a long list of amazing credits. He touched so many things that we love and seen that I would not have known, just learned recently about him. And the reason why I came to know about him, or maybe I've seen his name before, but didn't pay him any attention, is on Twitter one day, I saw that this book and photos from the book. And this is a book that he wrote in 1970 on special effects. And it's quite a fascinating book. I'm going to try to translate, many pages as I can and things that are important. I think are important. 220-page little book. You can still find copies, but might not be readily available. Might have to wait a little bit and do some hunting. Check out some of what's inside. I just took some pictures of some of the illustrations along. I didn't include the text but on special effects techniques. And there's just, a dozen plus illustrations and descriptions about how they pulled off many of those incredible special effects techniques that were groundbreaking and made Ultraman and Godzilla and other Toho and Tsuburaya kaiju what they were. So that's my father and son
I love that.
team combination, and I can't say enough about them because they shaped my life, especially as a child and as a collector. And,
Absolutely.
And
such
here, John,
inspirations.
John, this is the one you were talking about.
That's the one I want. Yes, because that came with there's I don't know if you have them. They came with the little script.
He's over there on another shelf, but yeah, it comes with his little creature.
Yeah.
I have the Ski Boy.
So
M1.
for the people who are watching that might not know what we're talking about, basically Eiji Tsuburaya would sign his name with a little cartoon character. And Yuji Nishimura from M1 had that, what Christine's holding up there, and what David's holding up together. Those were paired in a box set for Eiji Tsuburaya's 100th birthday celebration. I have that set too. It's one of my prized possessions. I absolutely adore it.
I need to get the one that David's got.
I'm regretting
from Diane from Claw Market at G-Fest one year. That was my payment for working at the table. I got that figure.
Oh, nice.
And it comes on a nice little green base too with a little nameplate on it. It's a beautiful set if you can get it.
And teeny tiny scripts too.
That's cool.
Speaking of scripts,
there's one that I'm looking for. Another box set by a company called Yamanaya, and it's got an Aberos and Banila and another without the hat on. Is that the one you have?
This one. That's the one I have, and I have the two. Kaiju that came. You have the box. Yes.
I'm looking for that one too. So.
Oh man.
Isn't there's one that came with the Godzilla too, isn't it? Same set, but it came with like Godzilla.
There's a second set that had Godzilla and Gomez. And
wow.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have had that.
Yeah, it was a wonderful time to be a collector. Is that 100th birthday celebration?
It was, and those humanoid figures, especially the ones that are like so, special to us who love the films. Like I love that stuff. That's what it's all about for me. And every chance I get to get one of those and add it to my collection, I'm just going to jump on it. So, yeah, fun stuff. John, thank you.
I found my set in Japan. I think it was 2018 for $100 at a Mondo and Nagano Broadway.
Whoa.
But I really blew it. But I had the money. Should have did it. I was back in I think it was my second trip to Japan. I went to Gojiraya, and they had an original Ultraman script for $1,000, and I should have I was on the verge of just getting it, and I regret not doing it to this day. But
yeah. I know somebody that owns some of Eiji Tsuburaya's original scripts, actually.
Oh my darn! Wow.
Well, we all know him. It's Yuji from M1.
Yuji has everything. Yuji has everything.
Yeah, like he's showing it off last time I saw him, and I was like, "Good lord, man!"
I totally agree, but it's not easy to drop $1,000 in Japan when you're on, visiting and stuff like that. Yeah. Even though
it's not.
In hindsight, it probably would have been a good idea to grab it, but
yeah. Yeah, I just ended up with an original Terra Mega Godzilla poster. That's what I came for.
Oh,
nice.
And yeah,
that's not shabby.
No. It was quite not as expensive.
Cool.
So back to you.
Right on. Well, I guess that means it's up to me.
Yes, it is.
All right. So, Father's Day. Yeah, I think, and thanks for your kind words, everybody, about Father's Day stuff. I am a parent. I have a child who's no longer a child. He's a full-blown adult, but now I'm just a fur parent, and I've got my dog babies, which are the ones I like to spoil nowadays. It's like I am man, I didn't know how much I wanted to be a dog parent until I had a dog. But anyway, that's beyond the point, because Hachi and Roxy are not going to come over here and sing Happy Father's Day to me. I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Number one, let's go for my favorite father-son collectible. I do have an X Plus 25 centimeter 67 Godzilla, and also the 68 Godzilla with the Minya set from Destroy All Monsters. But I thought it would be kind of cool to show off a different Godzilla Minya set. And Oh, they're not doing it. But anyway, here's the this is the trike set that I purchased. This is also from M1.
That's cool.
Yes, it is.
Those are awesome.
I love these
totally didn't
things.
think about. Yeah, they're great.
Brett, I love it.
Anyway, I will say a couple things about these. These are, as I just said, are from M1 Toys. M1 has really blown up in the trike department recently. And if you're not aware of the trikes, they're actually sort of like reimagined versions of much older toys. Like they're toys from the 70s, like hero figures on trikes and stuff like that. But so these guys, the M1's been producing these for a while, but they just started blowing up with a lot more different versions. You can not just get Godzilla, you can get Ultraman, Ultra 7, Kamer Seijin, Hedorah just came out.
Matango.
Yes.
Matango,
So
yeah.
the trikes are a big deal now, and the best part about it for you as a collector out there is when in-person events kick back in and M1 starts coming back to the States for these events, they usually will have a selection of trikes that they bring for these shows. So, when I first started looking at these things, I was like, wow, those are very expensive. I don't want to spend that much money on something so silly. But, at the shows, these will cost from the M1 table, unless they're super special limited releases, these will be about $70. So totally worth it for that. The only thing I'm going to ask, Yuji, in the near future, would you do me a favor, sir? GID Minya-san, onegaishimasu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have the same one, dude, Kyle.
Oh, nice.
I have the red one with the glowy.
I have the exact same set too, Kyle. I've got the glowy with the red.
We must
I
all got
picked
it
this guy up
at
at Monster Palooza a while ago. It was like one of the first times M1 came to the States for selling stuff, and I remember I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think I didn't actually go to the Monster Palooza show on Friday. And I had people telling me, "Oh my God, dude, M1's head of the stuff." Blah, blah, blah. So thankfully, I got that guy. Now, in terms of showing off an actual relationship, like an on-screen parental relationship, father-child relationship, I did have one that I wanted to mention. And that was, it's not a Showa era movie. It's actually Gamera the Brave. And just kind of hands up, who here in our group has seen Gamera the Brave? If you have not seen it,
God,
it's sort of like a
Christine,
heartwarming film. It's like Gamera. A lot of people were disappointed in it after the trilogy came out, right? Because you'd be like, dude, I love that trilogy. It's so badass. And then you end the trilogy with all these Gauss attacking Gamera, and then that's when literally the credits run. And so for Gamera the Brave to show up and then all of a sudden not be a continuation of that, I think a lot of people were unhappy with that film. That said, the movie actually, it's flawed, as every kaiju film is, but the movie has a really special actual relationship that develops between Toru, the child in the front, in the center of the screen, and his father. If you have not seen the film, before the film sort of really kicks in with this timeline, the mother of this family dies. And so the movie immediately starts with the father and the son not getting along really well. And there's like this unspoken wrongness in their family because the mother's not around. They both miss her. And it's a really, trust me when I say this, it is a great character arc. If you look back, Robert Dwyer is in the chat, and he mentioned for father-child relationships, he mentioned Atragon. I went back and I looked at every single Toho film from 54 through 69 or whatever, and I was looking for positive, good connections between fathers and their children. And I got to say, for the most part, number one, it's almost entirely father-daughter, and the relationship is always strained to estranged. And you don't even get like a real father-son in the Godzilla series. You don't even get a real father-son relationship until Godzilla Raids Again, which is still estranged as well. So I don't know exactly why the character arcs aren't developed in the Toho movies, but damn, Gamera the Brave, this relationship between the father and his son literally grows and connects and like connects together at the end. It is a true character arc, and the actual story itself I love so dearly. I think it's something people should definitely seek out if they have not seen Gamera the Brave. So there you go. That's what I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys for my Father's Day stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's not perfect. It's flawed. You know, there's weird choices like the sound effects or the I'm sure I meant Godzilla's Revenge, but it's anyway, the movie is great, and if you can ignore the flaws like most people do with the rest of the Godzilla series and Gamera series, then I'd highly suggest not getting hung up on the fact that it's not a sequel to the 1999 Gamera. Anyway,
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I might go back and watch it now, because Gamera the Brave is in this set.
Nice.
And like I did mention earlier that I over Memorial Day I saw my mom. We actually went to Maryland, and we walked into a FYE, and they actually had not this set, but they had both the re-released separate sets of the Gamera Showa Blu-ray from Arrow, as well as the Heisei. So they're out there. So so if you can't find them, they're really worth the investment. Trust me on that.
Nice, especially Gamera too. Anyway,
yes, yes,
I would probably say this is a perfect place to end our Father's Day segment. Kick off into our next segment, which is an intermission. After the intermission, we're going to come back with the Q&A videos that people submitted. I was paying attention to the chat room, but unfortunately what happens is with so many people watching and so much chatter happening, I can't scroll back up past a certain point, like a certain line where it's like, this is enough comments to show. Someone is out there watching with his wife, and they just celebrated their anniversary, and they were asking if we could give a shout out. And I was like, I'm going to do that. And I lost the comment.
I'll do it. I know exactly who it is. I know exactly
you do?
Who it is. Yes,
awesome,
yes,
dude.
yes, Scott. I was able to pull up on my device. Perfect. Liam Foley, one of our most devoted and awesome supporters. Yeah. He's a great guy, awesome really guy, fun guy. Like I said, he's very supportive. He offers nothing but kind encouragement. Super nice guy. He and his wife are celebrating a happy anniversary. So happy anniversary from the Collectible Monsters.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you for saving my butt there, Leslie. Jeez.
It's what I do. Right. It's what I
do. All right. Well, we're going to take a 3-minute intermission. And I wanted to tell people, if you liked the 4K news information that I shared earlier, I did throw in a little trailer for the yokai stuff happening in that film festival. So enjoy, and we'll be back in a few minutes to go through our Q&A. Oh, and don't forget, we are going to be giving away something at the end of the episode.
Yes.
All right.
This is what we'll be giving away. And when it's actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. If you would like to win this, we'll talk about it a little bit later as well. This is kind of like Legos, kind of like Neo something or other. Anyway, I'm not sure what that's called, but it's
pretty cool.
Ulauk, and it's edutainment character block. So it's, you put this little Godzilla together. If you would be interested in winning this prize, what I need you to do between now and when we actually do the cool drawing is I need you to post a comment that says hashtag I want it, just like this in the comments. If you don't want it, don't post anything with this hashtag, because this is how we tabulate the people who want to be entered in to win. And if it works, that is. And I will say, because we had an issue during our broadcast with Hector, the happy hour, if for some reason the StreamYard giveaway tool isn't working, I'll pick a random winner from the people who post I want it after the broadcast is over. But we'll go ahead and say see ya for 3 minutes. And when we come back, we will definitely entertain you with a lot more Collect All Monsters.
Always.
蒸し暑い酔いのことでした。出た！妖怪だ！
一体何者や。
日本の妖怪の底力見せてやら。
弔い合戦や。
この世には人知で測れぬ不思議なこともあるもんだな。
あ、魔人の足音だ。
お願いでございます。あなた様のお力でどうかお助けくださいまし。神様！
人間が小さくなり灰のように自由に飛び回るの。
彼はラサッタの死を守る者じゃ。
あん中には2000万の命が。
お前を殺さねばなど。
これはまた見事な祭りだ。
君の怪獣たちが今暴れ出す。宇宙の大バトル、勝負を決めるのは君だ。ウルトラ怪獣シリーズサーガに変身。目撃せよゴジラ新世紀。ゴジラが吠える、オルガがうなる、迫力の爆音が響く。激突サウンドゴジラ対オルガ、そして透明度。
All right, we're back from our lovely little break there. Tons of people threw in the I wanted hashtag. Thank you very much for doing that. But I did want to make a quick note here. These are not nanoblocks. Not technically speaking. This is called the ULAC Godzilla series. It's from Ulala Cube. It sounds like an alien produced it, so maybe don't trust it. But this is this. I just found it on HobbyLink Japan. It's not available any longer because Larry was asking if he can't win it, where could he purchase it? Online somewhere, I would say, Larry. But we will be doing the drawing just before the Monster Showcase for this, so there's plenty of time for people to, add that I want it hashtag in there. And the tool automatically grabs everybody and does the sorting itself, unless it doesn't work. So, yeah, I want it to work this time, so we're going to will it to work, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to go ahead and move on to our next segment, though. And our next segment is a series of questions that we solicited from our viewers. So I don't know. There's no real great way to introduce this except to say that we just asked people to hook us up with some cool questions. So we're going to start things off with Chris Hallett, who I know was watching earlier, but he's from the UK and it's very late, and so he had to go to bed.
Yeah, Chris,
which is understandable.
I hope he's still watching.
All right. Well, here is Chris's question.
Excuse me, young man. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Hey, you wonderful people. It's Chris Hallett here from the UK. I have a question for you. So imagine this. There's a website where you can upload a still from your favourite Godzilla film, and then they would take that still and commission your favourite sculptor to reproduce it in their style. So, for instance, I would choose 64 when Godzilla's next to the greenhouse incubator thing with the egg. Mothra's flying around, getting really annoying, flapping around in his face. I would have that reproduced by Yuji Sakai. It doesn't have to be Sakai, it can be anybody, obviously. Why would you choose anybody else, though, is my question, but hey. It could be like a Fubi-style Marmot version of that scene, psychedelic, you know, fat, funky kind of thing. So there's that one. And a little extra question, if I might be so bold, is if you could have any costume worn by any human character in a Godzilla film, what would you have? I would choose actually any of the suits worn by Akira Takarada in Mothra vs. Godzilla. Those suits are incredible, but specifically that cream one that he wears, ties, stripes. I'll send David a picture, maybe he can show that when you play this question, if you do. So 2 questions, there you go. Thanks for everything you do. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Take care. And groovy.
Great questions.
You're awesome,
Great
Chris.
questions.
Really good questions.
Yeah. Very
Kakarot is always
Very
on
British.
point with his suits.
very British ending too. Just gotta fit it off there at the end. That's good stuff. All right, who wants to go first for Chris's questions for favorite a scene you'd like to see sculpted by your favorite sculptor?
Go ahead, Leslie, if you're ready.
Yeah, I am. Let's see. My favorite sculptor. Of course, it would be, anything about Sakai, right? But I'm going to think outside the box and not go with Sakai. And actually, I'm not going to go with my favorite movie, Mothra vs. Godzilla, because that he already took my answer. So good God Almighty! but if I had it my way, I would try and get Monster Maker 28 and Burley Vane from Radioactive Resin, and I would recreate the imposter Godzilla going up against the real Godzilla from '74 with the oil refinery as a background, because you saw the awesome background with the GPK stuff earlier, right? So if money was an option and if it was possible, give me the real Godzilla, the imposter Godzilla in the oil refinery. That's what I would like to have. Yeah, with explosions and everything.
That'd be cool.
That's a great answer, Leslie.
And now thank you.
Working on that.
They are?
His Twitter at Tensame or TENSAME on Twitter. He actually has a sculpt of that he's been doing. He's been showing pictures of it lately.
Oh my God!
It's gonna be a good size. Leslie. It's gonna be a good size.
Yeah, I think fairly size. He has. Yeah, I'll send you pictures.
Please do.
I will.
Oh my God! And also, as far as like a costume from a character, a human character, that was one I was really struggling with. I was struggling with that one pretty much all day. But the one that I would pick, and I think Kyle, you have a picture of him.
Oh man!
You gotta do this.
I will so be Doctor Who with the hat and the cape and everything. But I will have good teeth on both of my jaws. Okay, let's get that clear. Because if you've seen King Kong Escapes, his upper jaw looks all right, but the bottom jaw was like a freaking minefield. So
that's all right. That's his age. That's his contact.
So that's what I would be. Doctor Who.
That was a good one.
Oh man,
doesn't get much better than that. That's perfect.
Absolutely.
With the cape
need one of those.
Yeah, with the cape, you'd be scowling and profiling.
And it's like in that film, it's like a lot of crazy off the wall stuff goes on. We got giant gorillas, giant mechanical gorillas, giant hypnotized gorillas, and all that good stuff. But nobody questions why this super villain is walking around with the cape behind his back and all that mess. So,
he's like the count.
But he's so cool. He's so cool. I mean, besides Mechanicon, he's like the best villain in the film. So here's what it is. David, what about you? What would you like to see?
Man, I love your last answer, so I'm still loving that. Because you know what? I could rock that cape too, man.
Okay.
But I'm going to leave you have that one. So this is really tough, Chris. This is a tough one because I love Mothra versus Godzilla, and you guys have both picked that. So I'm going to go a little bit out of the box for me. And what's a toss-up between two, and I'm just going to say both real quick. The first one would be, because everybody's going to pick Sakai, who's the master, but
yes,
Kira Ibaraki is super hot right now, and I love his work. It's just amazing, and I would love to see the very first appearance of Godzilla 1954, that maquette puppet head over the ridge.
Over there.
Oh.
Now, Sakai may have done a little small scale version of that. I think I've seen it somewhere, or it might be a fan build or whatever. I'm sure Ryan Mitchell will tell me in the comments because he knows all that stuff. But I would love to see a big 30 centimeter mountain hillside range with that Godzilla, that head, that puppet maquette head, peering over, looking down. The first glimpse we see of Godzilla in any movie. I think that would be super cool. And we could even throw in an extra piece where you could put the cow that he picked up.
That would be great.
The production sketches that actually never made it into the film.
Yes.
I think that would be
awesome.
really, 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 really cool. Now, the second idea I have, which is my first Godzilla movie, which is Monster Zero Kaiju Daisenso, the scene where Godzilla and Rodan are sitting there patiently waiting for their orders from the Planet X people, and they're just kind of sitting there, and Godzilla's kind of just like, he's like kind of really casual. I know there is a scene in Godzilla kit, but it's based on the scene from Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, not that scene. So the 65 Godzilla and the 65 Rodan sitting there waiting for their orders from the spaceship, which maybe we could have a spaceship above it too. It could be like a whole diorama. Those are my two. I'd love to see that at some point.
Look at Kyle. He's smiling over there. Look at Kyle.
Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, I know Kyle, that's his baby too, that movie. All right, now costume wise, this was a tough one too. I think I had one in mind, but then Christine changed hers a little bit, so I changed back. So Kyle, without further ado, that is what I would have to be one of the citizens of Planet X, and I'd have to rock those pointy shoes with the curled up toes. And I think that would be so cool. I think the red dots would definitely be decreasing if I put that on.
You'd have to go clean shaven. You'd have to shave.
Wait a minute.
You know what? If somebody buys me that costume, I would definitely shave for that. And I don't know if you still have it, Kyle, but it's just kind of a funny thing. If I were going to do a character in drag, you still have that.
Let me grab it. Let me grab it.
It's gonna take me a second. This is what I would do.
Oh, it's going to take me a second. You got to vamp more.
Well, anyway.
Vamp a little.
Hype it up, David.
A beautiful glittery alien that I would love to wear her outfit. And well, if it doesn't come up, it is.
It's coming. It's coming. I got it.
It turned into slugs, though.
There you go.
You have to have the little rocks.
That would be, if I were to go to a drag ball, that's what I would. Those silver
very stylish.
Man,
exactly.
I could rock that, and I would definitely shave my beard for that too. So, I just had to throw that little one in there for Pride Month. In my drag Toho persona would be the Kila Queen. Keep it warm, baby.
Those fabulous gloves.
Christine, how about you?
Oh gosh, so this was a tough question. I have a lot of favorite scenes, but of course I've got to go with a scene from Godzilla versus Violante. So a scene that I really liked was where.
No, this is her. No, she didn't switch it. This is her scene. This is not her costume. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so where Miki Sagusa is standing on the helicopter pad facing off against Godzilla. I think that was so cool because she did delay his attack for a bit. And I like the part where she was using her psychic powers, kind of like flash of that red color. Now, as far as someone to sculpt it, that was hard because I feel like this would look really good as one of those Yuji Sakai, the Complete Works dioramas. You know how we had those, like the little scenes from the movies and like this. I think it would look really great as that. But I love Toy Graph. That's my favorite. And Toy Graph hasn't really done any. Never did any any of the Heisei series. It was all Showa era stuff. So I would love to see a Toy Graph 89 Godzilla. I'm not really sure how that it may be paired with a little mini Mickey on a helicopter stand. But I mean, I always loved this scene. I thought it was so cool. And like she was one of the, only human characters who could communicate with Godzilla, and she was able to fend off and slow him down from his attack on Osaka. So that. They're connected.
Now,
I love that scene.
He killed Shindo in the next film. So why did he spare her life? He should have killed her.
So mercy.
They got a connection.
It's deep. You're going into
Best
deep.
buddies.
He killed Shindo because it came full circle, I think. Right?
They had a connection too.
Yeah.
But they had a connection too.
Yeah,
they recognized each other.
On the island. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's true.
I was mad that he killed Shindo because Shindo was like all up in his like trying to help him and whatnot.
Well,
that was very sad.
Because he came back, remember? Because they had moved his body, and then he came back. He was nasty.
True.
He was nasty. So
yeah,
maybe it was like
great. This scene is great, Christine. Great choice.
Yeah,
so impactful to me.
Yeah, I love that one. So so the costume. Originally, I had picked Namikawa in her alien outfit, but another outfit that I absolutely love by her, and you don't really see it a lot. So when you're first introduced to Namikawa in the beginning of the film, she comes up and she buys the lady guard, and so you see her walk in the rest. Leslie, I love this outfit. So
I love it.
First meet her as representative of, as long as I wrote it down because I forgot it already again, the World Education Corporation. I forgot what I said earlier in our chat.
The first ever lace front. That's what I'm talking about.
I love this outfit.
It's fierce.
Classy.
Fierce.
Yeah, she looks very classy. It's like, it kind of has like that 50s kind of vibe with the hat. Because actually, my grandma has a hat almost similar to this. It's a different color, but with the lace over the front. Super. I love like the retro vintage kind of stuff. And like she pulled this off. And I remember when I always would see her walk in that first scene wearing this. Man, that's a classy woman right there. And I love this outfit. I would 100% wear it. And she just looks sultry and womanly, and it's a very beautiful, classy look. So this is the outfit that I would choose. I would represent the World Education Corporation and the Lady Guard.
I think that's the job you just got, isn't it? Isn't that the job you just got?
Huh?
Isn't that the job you just got? Working for the
Secretly taking over the world. All
That
right,
hat,
John.
So that hat that was common to be seen at church with me growing up.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, that's standard. I mean,
the
mothers and the sisters, they're kicking the hats, man. There's nothing like them. But that, I would love to see. And he already actually Sakai-san actually has already sculpted this, but I want a 30 centimeter version of Godzilla 74. With the electrical lines or whatever. I would love that. Yeah,
magnetic power.
Yes.
Or you can just call it Godzilla's magnetic personality.
Yes.
No imposter. No imposter. No imposter.
No imposter.
I'd love to. If I had a dream toy, it would be like the Combat Joe, but a foam Godzilla out front and Mecha Godzilla underneath, so you could just. That's my ultimate.
Hey, John. You know what? I was gonna surprise you, but when I head up that way in a couple months, I'll bring this so you can see it and take pictures of it. And
that would be phenomenal if you do that. If you feel like doing that, would be awesome.
Yeah, I can do it. That way you can maybe, make some awesome pictures of,
Yeah, because I'm working on something.
Okay,
and,
well, in that case, I'll bring it, and that way.
That would be terrific.
Cool. That'll work.
Now, right back in 1974, the costume I would have to be that of Kyle. I don't know if you have the picture. Now, I was a junior chemist for about 5 years, so working in the lab was my thing. So I would want to be dressed like Professor Miyajima here, and just along with his most powerful pipe, and that would be like everything. Okay, that classic, jacket, kick it. Gotta go scientist all the way. Now I don't know if you got my other image.
Kabuto.
I love it. It looks like sugar ice cream.
That will be the other option. I'm not the cockroach, but I sure go full fashion plate with that one. I mean,
that was a bad suit. I ain't gonna lie. That was a bad suit.
That was a bad suit.
Okay.
Stylish.
Yes. The aliens
That's
from
my
the
favorite.
Nebula. And so they're my answers. Great question, Chris.
Yeah, it was a good. It was a fun question.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, coming up with a scene you want your favorite artist, your sculptor to produce in a vinyl form is very difficult, or not just a vinyl form, but in a physical form. It's very difficult because there are so many amazing scenes in all these films. Yeah. And every time I thought of a scene, I was like, God, you know what? They've already done that. So Chris mentioned Yuji Sakai, and Yuji Sakai is like the master of many, many Godzilla sculpts. And he has done quite a lot. So maybe instead of having Sakai do something, I would rather see a soft vinyl representation of the appearance of Godzilla in 1965's Monster Zero when he's being pulled up out of the lake. Again, there's a gorgeous kit of that. Yeah. But I've never seen a Sofubi style of that. And I would really love to see that. That would be pretty cool.
A Parababy.
A Parababy set would be fantastic. They already did the oh, that's not the right one. They did the saucer.
The saucer.
So you could technically have one where it's like the saucer and then Godzilla in its little bubble. But that's I'd love to see that kind of thing. Actually, someone did make some really expensive Godzilla and Rodan figures that are in bubbles, and I've seen them on Yahoo Japan show up every once in a while. And I've always been like, too rich for my blood. But regardless of that, there was the question of the costume. And so, I'm sure I would love to wear a Planet X alien costume. That'd be great. But, the other thing that got mentioned was that you'd have to shave your beard if you really wanted it to go off. So I'm like, well, damn, who has a beard or an acceptable beard in the Toho Godzilla series? And the only one that I could think of that I think would also be kind of funny is to get the corncob hippies costume from Godzilla versus Gigan.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, that you could do that.
I could rock that. I like how he's wearing gloves.
Accessory.
He thought it was a gun.
Not included. Oh man.
All right, so those are my answers. All
right, next G-Fest. We all need to have costumes. Now.
Yes.
Someone did a corncob hippie at one of the more recent G-Fests. I remember I don't get a chance to really see the whole procession of costumes at that event, but it's a ton of fun.
That I took of that costume in our group. It's a fantastic costume.
Right on.
I don't remember her name, but she rocked it. It was great. It was really good. She had the corncob and everything. It was great.
Who was that?
Okay. Well, let's move on to our second question, which comes from Mr. Alex Sawyer.
Hey, gang. I've been working on this guide for a little bit, and it got me thinking. Where would you like to see Toho and Legendary take Godzilla next? Me personally, I would love to see Godzilla in the Edo period and the Aztec and Mayan time. I think there's a lot more opportunities for new stories to be told. How about new monsters we can actually see and hear? I think that's something that we can do. I say stop going forward, let's go back. I'll see you around. I'm going to continue working on him.
Great question, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Made me think.
All right, Leslie, what you got?
Actually, and this is the idea I was toying with for a long time. Actually, I would like to see like a mini series where, cause I think sometimes like some of the best shows involving certain icons, sometimes the best stuff are the stuff that doesn't have that particular icon in them, Like for example, Joker is it's like the best Batman movie, but doesn't have Batman in it. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or Smallville. It's a great TV show about Superman, but Superman does not exist on the show just yet. So you have those shows that kind of like tell little small details or small stories that kind of build upon what we know about the character. So I wouldn't mind seeing like a little mini series where it'd be like a YouTube or a Hulu thing or whatever, where they go into certain stories from the show period, like
You take
they,
mine?
so they can explore like the mysterious ship disasters from 1954 that lead up to the original Godzilla, or the attacks that people are having in the mines. This mysterious attacks by these worms that the events lead up to the original Rodan. Just little certain stuff that kind of like show a more in-depth story on how the monsters that we know to be monsters became monsters through certain events. I think a certain like just a mini series like that you could devote to the Showa series, to the Heisei series, but a backstory told about some of these monsters, I think is a good thing, and it also doesn't like, I know we love Godzilla or whatever, but sometimes you can throw so much Godzilla out there that it creates Godzilla fatigue. So why not just show the backstory without showing Godzilla, but you're still celebrating Godzilla, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. What about you, David?
That's really insightful, Leslie. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Thank you, sir.
I would love to see realized at some point. Maybe we'll just have to do it our damn selves, I don't know, but I love that concept. And as far as my choice, I really love Alex's suggestion of Godzilla in the Edo period, but that would be a bit challenging because it's before he was radioactive. So don't really know how we would do that, but it's still a great concept. But my idea would be a film set right before the happenings in 1954, and it would be Odo Island would be the setting. So we would learn about what actually happened when they were talking about when the fishing was poor, they would sacrifice a young girl on a raft to appease Godzilla so he wouldn't rampage the village. So I would love to see that just before the events of 1954 happened, and it would be the Godzilla that we knew. It would be somewhere after the Bikini Atoll atomic testing and the actual events of the 54.
It's like the Rogue One of Godzilla 54.
I'm sorry?
Like a Rogue One to
Yes,
Godzilla 54. Yeah.
Exactly, Kyle. Exactly. A Rogue One 54. And then we could learn about maybe the characters that were on the ship that got killed. Like we could learn a little bit about them and why they were out there. They were out tuna fishing, like the actual, boat, in the real life story. But I would just love to see that and how they incorporate the Odo Island natives sort of incorporate Japanese folklore, which I love, and the legend of Godzilla and a reanimated dinosaur, how all that sort of culminates into what we actually see in the 1954 movie. I think that would be so great. I would love to see it. And strictly tokusatsu. I don't want, CGI can enhance it a little bit, but I want old school techniques. And I don't want, I want it to be set in like really, faithful to that time period. And I just think that would be a really, really great thing. Kyle said it, the Rogue One of Godzilla 1954. That would be my choice. And I would love to see that happen.
That would be awesome.
What about you, John?
Oh, well, you all kind of stole my thunder, but I have a couple to add.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Sorry.
Well, I'd like to see a series, and they've kind of done it. A few, several Ultraman series have done it. Tell the history of Toho and the making of Godzilla and Ultraman, and show the sets, but show. And so the Tanaka-san and Honda-san and Tsuburaya and all the heroes, unsung heroes behind the scenes, as well as in front of the camera. And the other series I'd love to see, I'd like to see a TV series of the Showa Godzilla and a recreation of those suits and those kaiju, and kind of a tribute, those films, but that old style, get the suits back on, and try almost not remake those films, but explore, other aspects of them. But actually, Dawn, I want to see the 74 suit again. I want to see, the 64 suit again, all those wonderful suits recreated and cast again in a tribute or some type of homage to all of that time.
Basically, Showa 2.0, right? Showa 2.0.
Okay. John, have you ever seen the Ultraman? It's sort of like a making of Ultraman dramatic reenactment show.
I saw that. Yes, I've seen. Yes, I think I have a clip of it. Ultraman.
So this is a clip from it right here, just for people watching. And basically, what happened is Subaraya Productions worked, I think, with TBS. Please correct me, someone out there, if I'm wrong. And they decided to do essentially like take certain elements from the making of Ultraman and then show the sort of drama behind those. So here's Sibo's.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway, the thing that I have was basically downloaded from 3 different YouTube videos, and I stitched them together. So there's like no subtitles or anything like that. But I would love to see some stuff like that. That would be amazing, dude. Yeah.
There was an episode of Ultraman Tiga. I swear, I think this is the second to last episode. As Subaraya and the original Ultraman are there, there in the episode itself. I love that episode. So yeah, that would be awesome. Christine, what's your answer? What would you like to see?
So I had a couple different ideas. I would like to see maybe like a little spin-off episodes of maybe Adventures of Little Godzilla.
Oh wow!
On the island, with Space.
Do you watch Goji Ban already?
I watched a few episodes, yes.
Okay.
I would like to see it like live action, like someone in the suit and all that, and like I would like to see him fighting like little tiny monsters and working his way up, and then
Christine likes her little Godzilla to be super.
I know. And then Junior, I would love to see something following Junior, as he's growing up and moving through the world, maybe fighting, maybe having more kind of like a fatherly son kind of bond with, Godzilla, teaching him how to hunt and teaching him how to fight other kaiju. I think that would be, I absolutely love Junior. I love Junior. So I would love to see maybe a couple little, maybe mini episodes or mini movies featuring, little Godzilla growing up and learning how to fight, learning how to fire his atomic ray, maybe fighting other monsters, defending his territory, learning how to hunt and all that kind of stuff. I would love that. I love cute stuff. Goji Ban is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. If you guys haven't watched that, it's such a cute series on YouTube. Oh my gosh. I love watching it. I haven't seen all of them yet, but I try to catch them when I can. But yeah, that's what I would like to see. Some of the spin-offs of Godzilla and Junior. What about you, Kyle?
Well, I think I was pretty vocal about not wanting Legendary to do more in the Godzilla series and wanting to go back to Toho. So I have a couple of quick. I'm going to say some things really fast. Number one, if Toho was to pick things up and start making movies again, I would hope that Toho would focus on making solid movies. And I like the idea of going backwards, doing what a lot of us have already talked about. It's like sort of doing these interstitial movies that happen in between the other films or before another film from the Showa era. Someone in the chat was actually saying it's very clear that the Showa era is like a favorite of people because that's what we want to see more of, right? Like if someone said, "Hey, do you want to see more Heisei era Godzilla movies?" Like I would have to say, maybe, but I'm in. I love effects. I love big explosions. I love all that stuff. But in the long run, I want the movies to be complete films, and that means enjoyable tales from the human side, which I didn't really think the Heisei era had too much of. But the anyway. If that's if Toho does it, right? I would love for Toho to spend some time focusing on that. Now let's talk about real quick, if Legendary were to continue doing stuff. I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, what if they got the Toho license back? I still would not want them to work on Godzilla stuff. I would want to see them, Legendary, tap directors to do maybe remakes, American remakes of other things, like Varan, you know, a nice Varan, or even a Mothra movie, a standalone Mothra movie. That kind of stuff. I wouldn't be upset if Legendary pursued that. And like, for me, one of the very last episodes we did on the Kaiju Cast, we talked about that. Like, who would you like to see? Someone asked who we'd want to see do a Godzilla movie, and I'm like, I'm too close to Godzilla. I would rather say, oh, you know who would make a really cool Matango remake would be Guillermo del Toro. Like that kind of those kinds of pontification, like thinking about who could make a good this or that. Like I like that for moving away from the big G and focusing on some other storytelling aspects. And I think that's what it sort of boils down to me, is I'd like to see more time invested in not Godzilla specifically, but the mythos around Godzilla, a mythos around the universe, be it Toho or Legendary. Anyway, that's
a really good point. That's a really
I like
good
that.
point. And I have to say, I love every single person's answers. They're all great. I'd like to see everything done like that. I mean, it's just exciting to me, and it just makes me think about why I don't love the direction that the movies are going in now. I definitely want to go back, and it's just exciting to me. And I wish I had the ability to be a writer. I am not a good writer. I have great ideas, but as far as like translating it into like a novel form, that's not my cup of tea, sadly. But maybe I should hook up with somebody who is, because I've got a lot of ideas up in here, and I know John and Kyle do too. And Leslie's idea is great too with the Megan Euron story. Damn, cool, great question, Alex.
It's so much you can dive into, especially to show us stuff like, how do they collect the monsters, you know, before Destroy All Monsters happened?
Right.
Oh, what happened in the interim? And you know what? If we can go to the Ultraman side, what happened in the interim period between Ultraman's exit from Earth into Ultra 7's arrival? What happened? You know, there's a lot of stuff that they can go into.
Yes.
Ultra Q.
Oh,
more Space Godzilla. More Space Godzilla. We want that. Yeah, we sure do.
More Violante. Violante.
Oh yeah.
Let's do Violante.
All right. Well, our third question comes in from Greg Benton, who has a question that made me think quite a lot about the answer to this.
Hey, Collect All Monsters crew. My question for you guys is pretty simple, but also one that leads to hopefully some really cool stories. I was actually talking to some of our friends, Gordon Flynn and John Penra earlier, and we were discussing a particular figure, and they were looking for recommendations on this figure, and it brought me down a very nice path of nostalgia, and I was wondering what figure caught your eye when you were younger, or maybe just not able to purchase that figure, and it just kind of stuck with you. What's the figure that stuck in your craw for a couple years or weeks or months, and you just had to have it? What was that had to have figure? And you know, for a lot of people, it's going to be a Nauts. Okay, I need to have one of those. Or for a lot of people, it's going to be like a Marmot Desugoji, and I completely understand that. But I'm hoping to just kind of like figure out a little bit more insight into where you guys were at and when you guys were at with your collecting. So for me, it was in 1998. I was 15 years old, and I walked into Mitsuwa Marketplace, and I saw this beauty. And this is what I was talking about with John earlier. And at the time, he was a retail $60. And you know, nowadays, I spend $60 a week on Godzilla figures, at least. But at the time, at 15 years old, I could not afford $60. So when I got into collecting seriously, I had to have a Bandai Grand King Ghidorah. Okay. I'm too old for him to devour. All right, he's the killer and eater of children everywhere. As opposed to Gamera, the protector of children everywhere. So,
that's
friends, Collect All Monsters crew, what was that figure that you saw and had to have, and then you subsequently tracked it down and got it? Go!
What you got, Leslie?
Well, I can't answer like when I was younger because I wanted a lot of things when I was younger. But there was one thing. When I first became a collector, I started attaining these treasures. S Plus is cool. Marmot kits are Marmot figures are cool. But there was one figure that I saw. I was like, you know what? I had to have it. And coincidentally, it was made by two of my best friends and guys that I love absolutely to death. So with that being said, here he is. The Asai Gabara 30 centimeter kit. And of course, I just said that it was made by two of my best friends, and they are Steve Sevajoli and, of course, our very own David F. Dopko. They're both my best friends. I both love them to death. As I understand it, this is a Steve Sevajoli and David F. Dopko co-production. So that means it's flawless. It is flawless. I think Steve did the eyes, and David did the rest of the kit. But this is, in my opinion, and I'm going to steal your word, David, the quintessential Gabara. Now, you mentioned Gabara earlier, and I was going to show him then, but I didn't want to spoil it because I knew I was going to have this answer, this representation for the answer to this particular question. But once I saw this, I was like, I had to have it. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I mean, of course, it's, you can try and find a kit, but trying to find a kit of this guy is like trying to find, a thin person at Church's Chicken. It's just not going to happen. but I wanted this one because they were made by two of the most talented and awesome artists this community has ever seen. And I saw my window and I jumped through it, and it cost me a little bit, but I'm glad to have it. And I am never, ever going to sell this guy. If I go into bankruptcy, if I lose my house, I guess it'll be me, Sandra, and Gabra in a cardboard box. But I'm not selling this guy. But this is, like, in my opinion, the best version of Gabra that you would ever find, better than S Plus, better than anything else that you ever find. I know Gabra's a monster that don't get a lot of love, but daggone it, I love Gabra. I love Gabba. So I want to say thank you so much to Steve and of course David. I love you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate this. This is mind blowing. So he's in good hands and he ain't never going anywhere. So with that being said, speaking of David, what's your answer to this awesome question?
Well, thanks, Leslie. Thanks for all those kind words. I'm all red now in the face. Thank you so much. You're way too kind. Before we start, my husband Keith just joined the chat, and he chimed in on a movie choice to make that we'd like to see make, and he said a backstory on the Shobijin Mothra twins.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be great.
I think that's a great idea.
Great.
I would love to see. Yeah. Way to go, Keith. Thanks for watching. All right, so let's get to my question from Greg. This is way back when I was still living in New Jersey, and I discovered that New York City has a lot of awesome toy shops. This is like 1980, probably 1988. I'm going to just use that year, circa 1988. So I used to go into the city, take the PATH train from Newark, and get off on Christopher Street, and then walk down to Bleecker, where there was Village Comics and the store that I'm going to talk about, Children of Paradise. And I usually went at night, and the store was always closed, but I could see what's in the window. And in the window was this guy.
Yes.
Wow. Great monster series.
Yes.
1964 Bandai Godzilla. And he was sitting in the window. I guess Greg asked, how long, a week, a month, a year. I guess almost a year. I would go into the city, and the store was always closed because I never could get there during the day. And finally, got into the store. I think I went on a weekend, and I went into the store, and the price tag was $200, and that was kind of expensive even back then. Definitely expensive for me. So I was working at a restaurant called The Office kind of like a Bennigan's type place. And I worked extra shifts. I saved my pennies, and I finally got the $200, so I could still pay my rent, et cetera, et cetera. Got on the PATH train, went early so the store would be open, bought the Godzilla. Now, this was the 1988 version of it. It wasn't the original 84 version. It was the 1988 version. So, and it wasn't the big collector's box, the cardboard box, but it had Godzilla, writing on the outside of the box. And I remember paying the $200, probably plus tax, and I carried that sucker in Manhattan down Bleecker Street to Christopher, got on the PATH train, got to Newark, and I got all kinds of stares from people in Newark. They're like, "What's that? A dinosaur?" I'm like, "Yep, yeah, it's a dinosaur. Whatever." But I carried that sucker home on New Jersey Transit to Cranford, New Jersey, and I finally got it after months and months of staring at it through the glass at Children of Paradise. Now, flash forward to about 2 years later when I actually met Keith and moved in with him in the East Village. I actually ended up getting a job at Children of Paradise on weekends. So I ended up working in that shop that had like all kinds of cool vintage stuff, Billiken, the tin wind up Bullmark stuff, all kinds of fun stuff. I got most of my vintage Bandais from Children of Paradise. That was basically my pay. I never actually took a paycheck home. I just got toys. And it was just the coolest shop. Like working in there, I saw people like Penny Marshall came in one time looking for something for her granddaughter. Bruce Willis came in. He was kind of
okay. Oh my gosh!
I don't know if you remember Lauren Hutton. She was a model / actress from the 70s. She had a gap between her teeth. She was really pretty. One of the first supermodels. Anyway, she came in, and I pinned a pin on her lapel. And then Gregory Hines, who was a famous tap dancer, who lived in the West Village, came in. He was a super nice guy. Anyway, enough about that. That was my first. It was stuck in my craw, Greg, for almost a year. I ended up getting it. I love it. I still have it. It's awesome. And yeah. How about you, John? What is your craw-sticking figure?
It's so funny because I thought you were going to do the one that I selected out of my collection.
Ooh.
And then the funny thing is, before you revealed that Bandai, I was going to go reach up on my shelf and pull it down because when I saw it back in 84, it took me until 91 to get it.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
because it was too much. It was too expensive for me.
Very expensive.
When it was released. But I have one that took over 40 years to get, and it was Ken's Godzilla from Godzilla versus the Ghidorah to be able to get the Bullmark giant Godzilla, to get this.
Fantastic.
40 plus years in the making. I never thought I would have it. So that's the one.
That is the one. That absolutely is the one. And I'm still looking for
40 years.
The vintage version of that. I have the repro, but that's on my list right now. That's in my craw right now to get that one. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled on Mandarake and Showcase Daikaiju. So yeah.
If I see it, I'll give you a shout out if I see it.
Please do.
Absolutely. Christine, what about you? What was that figure?
So, all right. First, before I do the figure, I just want to respond to a comment. Samson asked if I was eating something off the floor. I do have a bag of chocolate on the floor. I need some snacks. So I was eating chocolate from a bag on the floor. I was trying to be indiscreet, but I guess it didn't work.
Eagle Eye Samson over there.
So the question, mine's actually not a figure. It's a little bit different. So this one's actually been about 20 years that I've been wanting this particular thing. So way back in the day, probably in like 97 or 98, back when I was in middle school, we first started learning how to use the internet. And one of the first things I searched was Godzilla. And all these images came up of these beautiful paintings of Godzilla by Bob Eggleton.
Wow.
So one of my favorite images, I would print all of his pictures off and like stick them in my binders and my locker and all that. And one of my favorites was his cover for the Dark Horse Comics Godzilla. It was Horror on the High Seas, Godzilla versus the Spanish Armada, where Godzilla's like rising up out of the ocean. He's got like this greenish kind of hue. There's a storm going on in the background. And I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, I would love to meet Bob Eggleton. Like someday I want a painting by him so bad.
Awesome.
So 2018, I finally got a painting by Bob Eggleton. And it's, of course, Biogoji.
That's amazing.
So
That's cool.
I didn't really tell him exactly what I wanted. I told him that, I'd like that cover, and then I wanted Biogoji and to just, go whatever with what he was feeling on how it came out. So I was totally not expecting it came with Biolante's vines in here, and like it has the acid spray on them, but I could not be happier with this. I think I actually cried when I first got it, because for like 20 years, since I got it, 2018 is when I got this, and I never thought I would actually own like an actual painting by him, but it's beautiful, and like just it's really hard to see in like pictures, but like the picture in person looks like it's glowing, like his eye here. I can get it. But he has like this beautiful golden eye that's just like glowing, and this is something that I've wanted since middle school, and to be able to get this was just definitely a dream come true. And it's always been stuck in my mind, because I remember I wrote a story in high school for English class about Godzilla, and I used one of Bob's prints as my picture cover for the story. And so hopefully I would like to turn it into like a 3 set. So I want to get maybe a Rose Violante done by him and a evolved form Violante. So that's so that was mine. It's not really a figure, but that's something that I've wanted for a long time. It's been stuck with me, and I finally got it.
Outstanding.
I'm happy. I love Bob's work, and it's just very special to have.
Indeed.
All right, so on to you,
very happy
Kyle.
to own a Bob Eggleton original in my collection as well. And my co-hosts hooked me up from the Kaiju Cast, hooked me up with a Rodin piece, which is just gorgeous. Nice. And yeah, like what you were saying, pictures don't really do it justice. Seeing it in person is the only way to go there. So for me, I was telling Christine this, like a lot of figures have sort of stuck in my craw. That's usually what happens. I don't usually get something right when I see it. So days, weeks, months, whatever, a figure I see may take me that long to get it, just because I don't prioritize it or what have you. However, I have a pretty good story to share here. So way back in 2001, the little movie called Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack was released, and then later on we found out that one of the original stories had Varan and Angulus as opposed to Mothra and Ghidorah in the film. This was a image that I found online way back in the day of those sculpts, and specifically the Varan sculpture, which like honestly, this was like the best photo I had of it for the longest time. And I just remember being like really in love with this idea. I love Varan as a monster design, and I really, really wished that I could have seen this in the film. That said, however, as we know, that was not meant to be in the film. But several years later, M1 released a model kit of the 2001 Varan.
Awesome.
And I've showed this off on the program before. Right. This is absolutely one of my, I mean, if you're just gonna use the word craw, this stuck in my craw since I saw the concept art. And then when I found out that someone actually made an actual physical piece of it, I was like, man, I would love to have that. And when I actually had the ability to purchase it, I jumped at the chance, despite it being one of the more expensive pieces in my collection. It was just like, I gotta have it. So I guess that would be my answer, is the 2001 concept Varan. But
awesome.
So many potential stories all around me for that.
I know.
Yeah, and Kyle forgot to mention that he built and painted that, and it is one of the best, most unique paint jobs I've ever seen for a model kit. It's really, I mean, go back and watch what do you know what number episode that was, Kyle, that we talked about that?
It was the model kit episode number.
Okay.
I think it was 5. Episode 5. But yeah.
Yeah, just go back and watch that show where Kyle goes into detail about how he actually built and painted that particular figure. It's really inspiring and it's beautiful. And you know that I will be so lucky if I ever get that kit in my collection as well at some point. Not that kit, but a kit. You know what I mean? That's his kit. but it's beautiful in person, and he just go back and watch that one. It's awesome.
You're right. Episode 5. I just checked it. It is episode 5.
Episode 5. Cool.
Right on.
Check it out.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and rush off to our next Q&A question, I guess I should say, from Ryan here. Woo, yeah, woo.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Ryan Wilhelm here. Thank you so much for taking my question. So I'm curious, what was the piece you spent the most time searching for? And when you acquired it, was it worth it? Thanks again. Have a great day.
All right. What do you think, Les?
Well, for me, I'm going to breeze through it, but basically, I became an S Plus collector back in, I think, 2012, 2013. And, you know, I was getting my feet wet as a collector or whatever. And once again, I've obtained some great stuff along the way. But there was one thing that I've always wanted to have from S Plus, and I tried to find it. And when I did find it, it was way out of my price range. But I didn't give up because I do have it in my collection. But the one that I always wanted to have in my collection is, of course, the natural colored version of the 1954 Wonderfest Godzilla. You mean I've showed this guy on a program before, but this was the one I really wanted to grab. And now that I do have it or was able to find it, it was so well worth it because they have not reissued this, you know, in this color. They probably reissued like the black and white version from Diamond or whatever, or maybe the RMC version, but they have never reissued this natural colored version. Now, mind you, this is not what we saw in the original film cover, with black and white. And I'm normally a stickler for that. Normally, I want to have the kaiju representation of what I have seen in the films, but I am willing to make exceptions to that rule. This is an example. You probably can't see him, but the multicolored King Ghidorah. At first, you know, I'm all about the Golden King Ghidorah, but that is a cool figure, so I had to have him. We just talked about Varan. You know, they have made a Varan in a brown version, even though the film was in black and white. So with that being said, like I said, this was the figure that I've been hunting for years and years and years. And now I have it. And I've always said this in Facebook or on my videos or whatever, especially when you're a new collector. And, you know, sometimes we miss out on getting the things that we want. But I always say it's not a question of if you get something, it's a question of when. If you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to put in the time to try and find what you want, you will get what you want. You just got to put the work in. I'm living proof of that. All right, David, what's the answer you have to this?
Wait,
awesome
I gotta real quick say, almost everybody else while Leslie was talking there at the end was doing like money, like Megan Rain. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
What happened? What happened?
You were talking about having the time and the energy, putting the time and the energy, and then everybody else is like, and the money.
I mean, yes, money does help because you're gonna need it to get it, but sometimes it takes like being up at 2 o'clock in the morning if you can't sleep and you scouring online, you know, whatever. That's what happened to me. I saw this guy on Mondo, and it was a good price. It wasn't horribly overpriced like I've seen on eBay here in the States. It was a good price. I had the money for it, so I jumped at it, and I'm glad that I did. Once again, this is a figure, at least the color-wise, they have not reissued as far as S Plus. You know, S Plus loves to reissue pretty much everything. This is the one figure, at least one of the few figures that they have not reissued yet, at least in this paint scheme. So for that reason alone, it makes him super, super rare. So I know if I were to sell him, I know I would get big bank for it, but I don't want to because it took a long time to get here, to get this guy. So that's why I cherish him the way that I do. So
awesome.
Very cool.
Yep.
Go for it, David.
So most of you probably going to think I'm going to say the Knots figure, which definitely would fit that category because I wanted that figure from the moment it was announced. And, you know, I've told the story before on the show. I ultimately have one, and it was painted, a custom paint job by some awesome people in Japan, et cetera, et cetera. But I have to say, since I've been on the internet in the early days of the X Plus group. You guys who were there will probably remember what my grail was, and I was searching for it for I think it was over a year, and it was this guy right here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
25 centimeter crawling Baragon. And this one was so elusive back then. And, you know, they had figures of Baragon standing up and this and that. And I wanted to have a crawling version. And I really loved this sculpt. And I kept missing them on eBay. I even everybody who I knew had one, I sent them a private message saying, hey, how much would it take for you to sell that to me? And no one would take my offer.
That's dude. After we did our Frankenstein Conquers the World Daikaiju discussion for the Kaiju Cast, I took a picture of me holding a crawling Baragon, which is a Volks Orient Hero resin kit. And I remember you messaging me and be like, would you be willing to sell me that? No, that's not X Plus, buddy. But you were after it for a while. Yeah.
Shoot, I remember that. I didn't miss a trick. Like I think I emailed everybody, including Robert Dwyer, who's like, well, you know, I would think about it, but my better half bought this for me as a gift, so I couldn't see myself selling it. Now, there it is right there. And you know, when I want something, I don't play around. Like, I'm going to give you a serious offer. You know, like I'm not, you know, going to beat around the bush. Anyway, long story short, it kept going on and on and on, and no one was coming through. And then finally I saw one on eBay, and it was being sold by, I think, a now defunct seller called Monsters, not Monsters in Motion, House of Monsters from Chicago.
Oh yeah, I remember those guys.
Them? Oh yeah,
and they had a lot of kaiju stuff. Oh, you know, back in the day. And I saw this guy, and it not only was the crawling version, it's the Rick version with the light up horn.
Oh,
wow.
So there was like, I don't think there was any bids on it yet. And it was at a certain price, which was expensive, but it wasn't over the top. It wasn't over the moon. I was willing to pay more. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet. So I emailed the guy and I said, hey, I'm going to give you this much if you end the auction and sell it to me right now. And he did. Wow. And here he is. So I hope for my toy karma that there wasn't already like a small bid out there, but whatever the case may be, he's mine. I got him. And then they reissued him like about 2 years later. But it's still like the hunt is part of the fun. Like it's frustrating and challenging, but it can be fun. And those of you who the old timers know, before the internet, we used to have to go to physical shops to hunt for these things. And you never knew what you were going to get. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you'd be surprised. Most times you come up with a big goose egg. But anyway, this is the one. X Plus 25 centimeter crawling Baragon was my grail. That's it. John, what's yours?
Well, my grail, the item that I searched for a long time, I knew about it for a long time. And there were different iterations, but actually getting it seemed impossible. I mean, it took 5 years, if not a little longer. And a couple trips to Japan, I searched for items, you know, for this character. And David, you have one. I really wanted one, and the only representation I could find was at Nakano Broadway. And I think this was $30. This little
Passion Boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
cute one.
And finally, during the pandemic, I believe it was, because I've shown it, you know, before, I finally got the X Plus Traveling Boy.
So cool.
Took a long time, and I didn't sit on it. When I saw it, it was going to be mine. Don't hesitate. He who hesitates will not get the early worm.
Early bird gets the worm.
Whatever it's called.
Hey,
He who hesitates does not get the Passion Boya.
hey, man. Hey, you might want to hide that, because if Sandra sees that, when we come up there, she may want to take that home. So you might want to hide that. I'm like, she loves Passion Boy for some reason. Like, ever since yes, like I don't know why. Ever since she saw it, she was like, I got to have it, which is why I bought her the shirt, right? And she wants. I'm trying to get Mark St. Yang to make her a figure of it, since we can't find a Passion Boy anywhere.
Yeah,
but for some reason she loves that thing. So, like I said, hide it, because we're gonna take it.
Now I know which one. stow
There's a
away.
few different sizes of Passion Boy pieces
They do.
out there.
And if they do a soft vinyl representation of Passion Boy, which I think would be great, like an M1
Mhm.
or Armid or something,
Oh,
would you get that?
yeah.
Would that be your first soft vinyl figure?
I would get it for Sandra.
For Sandra.
There-
For Sandra,
Fair enough.
yes. Yes.
I have a blog post about Travel Mean Boy, which would be Compassion Boy. There's many, you can get many different vinyl iterations of the figure. They can be pricey, and hard
Yes,
to
they
come
can.
by. But keep an eye on Mandarake. They
Okay.
pop up every blue moon.
Okay.
Christine, you're up next.
All right, so mine that I spent the most time searching for. So it was actually a kit. It originally came out back in the 90s. The Kyoto 1/80th scale Biogoji.
Oh, wow.
So I remember seeing this back in the day when I first got on the internet, and I was like, so it's this mass. Actually, technically, I don't actually have it with me physically. It got reissued in 2017. So I was right on that. As soon as that went up, I think I got it off Hobby Link Japan or one of those. I don't even remember, Hobby Search maybe, and instantly put in an order for it. It's actually right now so here it is. It's our good friend Steve. He's gonna be building and painting that for me. So I haven't been able to touch my own kit. However, I have seen it in person. I saw it actually in person at AlienCon. Actually, I think it was Steve that brought a kit up to the show, or he had made one for someone that had it at the show. So it's huge in person. I remember I was able to put my arms around it. I took a picture with it, but I have wanted this since the 90s. And the kit back then, I mean, whenever I would look for it, was like anywhere from like $3,000 to $5,000. And I didn't have that kind of money back then. So when it got reissued in 2017, I think it was about $1,500. And I was like, all right, I can do that. Put on my credit card, paid it off over a couple months.
Right.
And so I'm so excited to finally have this. I got a spot for it already.
On the floor.
Yeah, no, he's not going on the floor. I took that the shelf. It designated shelf space for him.
That's an iconic piece.
Yes, and I love the pose, and I can't wait to have. I have this. I know exactly how I want it to look too when I have Steve paint it. I want him to have the fins kind of like a bluish kind of hue on it, so it looks like he's powering up. And I want the 89. So I know the 89 doesn't really have the golden, he's kind of got more like brown eyes. But I kind of like in the later series where he's got kind of that gold color. So I want a little bit of mix of gold in there to really make his eyes stand out. But I remember when I saw this on the internet way back in the day, I was like, I need to have this. I need to have this.
I didn't know
It's huge. Yeah, it's a gigantic figure. I think it's like, 3 or 4 feet tall, like almost 6 feet long, something like that. But I mean,
yeah, so it's bigger than you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I was able to like wrap my arms. It was so big that I had to like wrap my arms all the way around it when I saw it at AlienCon, and I was like, wow, this thing is so amazing. I'm so glad I got one. And yeah, that was the one that I've definitely spent a lot of time searching for, and it was 100% worth it. And it'll be 100% worth it. Yep. And I can't wait to get it and display it and just love on it every day when it gets here.
I didn't know they reissued it. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was for a very short time. I don't know how many they made, but as soon as I saw the announcement they were going to be reissuing it. It's back in 2017, and yeah, as soon as it went off, I set my alarm and I was hitting that sucker, and I was like, oh gosh.
You're the only one of us who has it, I think, right? None of the rest of the cast has that.
Yeah, I don't have it.
That was always too out of my range. Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was hard.
it's a little much for me. Yeah.
John and Kyle, do you remember a magazine way back when called Kit Builders and Glue Sniffers, where there was a whole article about they call it the Big Mother. That's the name that they call it. That was
that's hilarious.
Kit. And it was by David Barker, who used to do all those dioramas and exploding scenes of Godzilla, and it showed him step by step how to build that particular kit. And I think they had a cartoon in there that said, never build a Godzilla bigger than your door frame. Picture I'll take a picture of the article and I'll post it in our group. It's really funny.
That's great. That's funny. Yeah, because I'm actually gonna have to rent. So I know Steve has built some for a few people. He's actually working on Rich's right now. And he has to actually ship it in 2 separate boxes because the tail has to become separate. So what I'm gonna do is when it's ready, I'm gonna go drive down to Las Vegas, rent a big van. So because I'm afraid to try and put the tail on by myself. So I'm just gonna have Steve have it. It's all ready to go. I'm gonna drive down in a van, pick him up, bring him home.
That's fun.
Yeah, so it'll be a fun little road trip. Get to go to Las Vegas.
Strap him on your bike.
I know, right? I'll get a little seat for him, passenger seat.
Sidecar.
Sidecar, yes. Okay, that would be worth the price of admission right there. Sidecar.
So that's my piece. And so what is the piece that you spent the most time searching for, Kyle?
Similar to Greg's question, it's like I see something I want and it doesn't really necessarily, like, I'm a cheap man. I will pay the least amount of money I can for something. So sometimes that means I see an item that I want and I will attempt to get it for the price that I want it. So David showed an X Plus Baragon from their 25 centimeter line. I'm actually showing off the X Plus 25 centimeter Gigan.
I remember that.
Because as many collectors of X Plus know, there was a long time where they were not reissuing 25 centimeter figures that often. And I was like, dude, I really want this figure. But every time he sold on Yahoo Japan, and he was never on Mandarake at the time I was looking. So every time he sold on Yahoo Japan, I would like go put a bid in. But I did what you're supposed to do. I was like, okay, well, what's the most amount I'm willing to pay for this figure? And I would put that in and I would walk away. And every freaking time I was getting outbid. And so we're talking about, and I know Rich is not watching. Rich Iso, by the way, we used to chat a lot more. And when I was building up my X Plus collection, we would, not just Rich, but a whole bunch of people in that group. Samson is also part of the group too. We would send each other links. Dude, did you see this? This is up for sale. Did you see this? This auction just went up. And so there were a few figures of the series that I wanted like that. But the Gigan, I kept getting outbid over and over again. And one day I just added way more than I wanted to pay. And I did win him for a reasonable amount. And then, of course, a year later, they reissued him with the Megalon.
Do that.
Yeah. That's how it works. That's how it works.
That is absolutely how it works.
So in the long run answer of was it worth it? I think yes, because in the waiting for some of these figures to be reissued, I already had like the Megalon when they released it as the 2-pack. So I was like, well, I would have had to sell the Megalon. And so I'm glad that I picked this up. And it's not the light up version, but that's okay because the light up version of this Gigan, it has that super pain in the ass where you got to take off his head to turn the thing on and put it back in. You'd have to have like a hairdryer on hand anytime you wanted to be like, hey, look at this cool feature. So that's the one that I would say. Yeah,
that's the one I have, and I lit him up once.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next question, which is from Greg Coggin.
Hey, everybody. Coming at you from the Pacific Northwest. I'm here at Lake Rossiger in Washington on a trip, first trip in a long time. First, before I ask my question, I just wanted to say, been pretty, an interesting year, obviously, but getting through this pandemic, Collect All Monsters has been kind of a nice diversion, good way to get through it. I've been enjoying, just the collecting, the hunt, the box days, seeing all your box days, enjoying the Saturday shows, the watch parties we were doing, all that stuff, kind of helped get through this mess. My question is about model kits. So I'm getting back into building kits. It's been a long time since my first kits were done when I was 12 years old. But when I guess my question is, where's the best place to find these kits? It seems like when I'm looking around, I've seen what appear to be bootlegs, or I wouldn't want to buy something bootleg if that's out there. So any tips on how to find some of these resin kits, vinyl kits would be awesome. And thanks again for everything you guys are doing with the group. Cheers.
All right. So actually, David, if you don't mind, I just have I don't know if every one of us can answer that question, but I have a very quick tip that might be the same as what you're going to say, David. So for model kits, the best thing I found is that you should have friends who already build these kinds of model kits. And I'm not saying like befriend them, but do it. Befriend people like David, like Ryan Mitchell, who's in the chat right now. Ryan's in the chat. He's a great resource for kits. And as he says, don't do boots, kids. Stay off of eBay. I hate to throw out a blanket statement, but if you go onto eBay and you see a kit you like, and it's from Thailand or Taiwan, I would avoid it. It's most likely going to be a recast unless it's super expensive because it's an original. And those kits, they can be expensive, but they're expensive for a reason. And so what I would say is, Greg or anyone else who wants to get into model kits, the way to get into model kits is to get a friend who already has an in, because it's a very gate-kept world, not just because of like skill level and stuff like that, but because in Japan they have very strict rules about who they can sell to, and they don't really want to break those rules generally. So that being said, I have no more to add. David, what do you think, man? How do people get into model kits these days?
I was going to say something similar to that, Kyle, because myself, like, I'm lucky to have a few connections in Japan, because sometimes, like as far as the KOC kits, which are really popular now, you have to order them directly from the sculptor himself. And that's really hard to do if you don't speak the language or have a connection with the sculptor. I say you could, some of these sculptors actually have Facebook pages, so you can actually, befriend them and chat with them. But for the average person, Mandarake is always a great resource to look for model kits. And it's a little challenging what to search for. If you search for Godzilla model kits, you might not come up with much. But if you search for Godzilla 1954, you'll see a whole bunch of model kits come up in between the soft vinyl figures and the toys, etc. So Mandarake is a really good way to do it, where you don't need a proxy service. There's an English site. It's pretty self-explanatory, and you can have them shipped directly to your home from Japan without the use of a proxy service, which I don't tend to use because I think it takes a lot longer and they tend to be pretty expensive. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just not for me. Also, when they start doing these conventions again, these live conventions, that's a really great place to see model kits. Jersey Fest is one where there's a lot of model kits are available there. Robert Trock is one that like knows all about Jersey Fest. He's a great person to talk to. Also, Kaiju Modeler that shows up at G Fest every year. They have tons and tons of like those really awesome resin pieces that are really hard to find. So if you can make it to one of those live events, that's a really great way to do it too. Billiken is really frustrating because Billiken has they've been reissuing a lot of stuff lately, and they sell out like so quick. So you have to really be fast on the draw for Billiken. But it is challenging. I'd steer clear of eBay because of what Kyle said. A lot of the times you can't tell whether it's a bootleg or not, and the prices seem to be like really, really inflated. Just be patient and ask one of us who have been in the modeling game for a while, and we'd be glad to help you out any way we can. So
I would point at David. I would point at Steve Saragioli, Ryan Mitchell, who's watching right now, Robert Trock. I don't know if he's part of our group, but all of these individuals, they've been in the model kit game for a really long time. They're just a way better resource than Dr. Internet's going to be for you.
Yeah, it's tough. So, John, do you have any extra tips about model?
I don't, because I don't build them. I have a small collection of them. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's definitely a niche collecting aspect. I like a little bit of everything. So I have model kits, soft vinyl, and X Plus. So I like a little bit of everything, which is kind of cool, and the paper goods and the nostalgia stuff too. Yeah. So I like to have my hand in a little bit of everything. But there's people who know far more about the modeling world than I do. So seek them out or ask me, and I'll point you in their directions, because I get a lot of help from them as well. So
yeah, I think eventually what we'd all love Collect All Monsters to be is like just a fantastic resource for these types of things. If person A is looking for item B, like how do you find that? And like for people to be able to come and like just even to the group and say, hey, how can I get this? I feel like we have so many people in the group right now who are just very helpful. And I'm talking about, of course, I'm talking about our Facebook group, guys. We are on Facebook, and that group is the Facebook Collect All Monsters Monster Collectors. If you're not a member of that group already, I'm not just blanketly throwing out some stupid name of a Facebook group. We really do like to hang out with our fellow collectors online. And so again, as a resource, we would love to help facilitate those kinds of, that kind of passion, really. Yeah,
absolutely.
And we do some fun stuff, fun group stuff.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Christine, have any suggestions as well?
Well, I was going to suggest Mondo because I'm not really into kit building, but there is that group on Facebook, the Kaiju Kit Builders Club. Yes. I would think, that would be a great resource as well, because it's all people that, buy these kits, put these kits together. So I would say, if you're not already a member of the Kaiju Kit Builders group, then I would say join that, and that'd be a good start.
Great suggestion.
Right on.
Basically, what they said.
They didn't say the group though.
Basically, what everybody said, I'm saying what they're saying. That's what I'm saying.
Christine's just automatically on defense. She's like, stop it, Leslie.
You always pick on me, Leslie. So.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our final question, which is from Samson West, who is watching live. And he didn't have one question. He had basically a question for each of us. So I will actually, I will pause in between the questions so that he can get those answers.
Excellent.
Hey, you awesome Collect All Monsters hosts and Collect All Monsters viewers. Godzilla fan here, Samson West, and I have the end-all question for you guys. So, you all have such epic facial hair, and it's so great and it's so wonderful. Christine, when are you going to grow out your beard and mustache? No, kidding. But I do have a question for each individual host so that I can kind of give you all something to answer. Kyle, you have a huge variety of items in your collection. I've seen you don't just collect kaiju, you collect other fandoms as well. Do you find it difficult to balance between collecting kaiju and collecting from other fandoms? David?
Answering the question right now, yes. I did find it difficult to balance my kaiju collecting versus like superhero or comic book collecting and Star Wars collecting, because what would end up happening is I'd get something from one of those other things, which I don't love as much as kaiju, and then something would come out and I'd be like, I don't have the money for that now. Yep. So if you watch, I'm not suggesting anybody watch it, but if you were to go back to the Kaiju Cast channel and watch like from 2013, I did a tour around this room with Keith Foster of Kodoja, and it's so different. There's like superhero figures on the shelves and everything. There's a bunch of Star Wars toys. Basically, at some point, I decided that I was going to stop collecting those things, and really, what I collect is kaiju stuff. Obsessively collect. I also do collect some Hellboy stuff. Hellboy is for people who don't know, Hellboy is a comic book, and it's got a lot of great lore behind it and a lot of great stuff. So I collect that stuff, but I don't go crazy for it like I do with the kaiju stuff. I'm very reserved. It's all about the books. In many ways, the kaiju stuff is about the movies. It's all about the Hellboy books. And then Star Wars stuff, I basically just said only bounty hunters, and then that's it. That's how I decided to whittle down what I was doing, and now I don't have that problem where I see something from Star Wars, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna throw down all this money on it because I know that the focus of my collection is this room, which is 100% Japanese kaiju. It's 99% because there's yokai stuff and there's some super robot stuff, but it's all related in my Anywho, let's get to David's question.
You are the kaiju customizer extraordinaire. Your paint skills, your customization skills, just everything about you being able to take a vinyl figure or a kit and transform it into a kaiju piece of art is just, I can't even think of words to describe it. I know that you prefer to use the paintbrush method rather than anything else, but have you ever thought about using airbrush? Has that ever crossed your mind that you'd like to try to dive into it? Or have you ever tried to use it in the past? And Leslie, you have...
Stop, Sam. Okay, go Dave.
Well, oh shucks, thanks again for the kind words. You're making me blush again. I'm turning red. Just to backtrack a little bit, I've stayed at Kyle's house, and all of the stuff that's not in his Godzilla room is in the guest room. So I get,
That's right.
I get to sleep with Hellboy and Star Wars, which is really cool. So it's still there. It's just kind of moved to a different space. There's probably less of it than last time I was there. I don't know if you're selling it off or whatever, but there's definitely other stuff at Kyle's house, but not in that particular room. So I have seen it.
I'm a well-rounded nerd.
You are definitely. Hey, I've got some Star Wars stuff too, and I love the bounty hunters. So not a whole lot. I've got a little section of Star Wars, and I really like that too. So, and of course, yokai. I can't resist getting some good yokai stuff. But my answer, Samson, is no. I have never tried to do an airbrush painting model kits. I actually won an airbrush at my second G-Fest. In the model contest. I got like some kind of a runner-up prize for, I did a customized Godzilla Jr. Kyoto kit. I took dorsal plates from a broken 95 Godzilla. So I made like an older version of Godzilla Jr. So I put those dorsal plates on his. Anyway, it won like a prize in there. And the prize happened to be, it was kind of cool. The prize was an airbrush and a Sakuda Hobby Mogera 94. So
Nice.
No, I haven't used it yet. It's still in the box. I'm really afraid to use it because I really would have to take classes in it and really learn how to do it properly, because I'm so afraid that it's gonna like glop out too much in a certain area and lose some of the detail on a model kit. I should eventually try my hand at it, but you need a big space to do it, number one, and you should probably do it outdoors, and you need special types of paint. And I'm just so used to doing my painting the old school way that it's kind of hard to change, teach an old dog new tricks, whatever. Having said that, though, it would have been great to have utilized an airbrush doing those large resin KOC kits with all of those really deep scales and things, because I've had to do like several coats of a base coat to make sure I get all that in there, and even water down the paint so it gets all the way to the back of those cracks. But no, that's a really good question, and I should try it. Maybe one day I will, but I haven't done it yet. I know Steve is a master at the airbrush, and he does a really fantastic job. Maybe if I ever get down to visit him in Las Vegas, he could give me like a quick tutorial on how to use it. So I do have one, but I've never used it. Hope that answers your question. And
all right,
it's John's up next.
You ever tried to use it in the past?
Well, I rewound
and Leslie,
it.
you have one of the biggest and best X Plus collections I've ever seen. You seem that you're an X Plus enthusiast all the way. Do you have a different figure line that you like to collect other than just X Plus? Do you have something else that tickles your fancy more than just X Plus?
All right, Leslie, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna breeze through this too, because I really don't have that much. Because I'm more focused, especially now with the amount of space that I have left. It's mostly X Plus, but I do dabble in the Roto Kaiju, of course, the Kong stuff, the Roto Kaiju Kong stuff. As far as like new stuff, I did get my hands on the 1999 giant size Gamma from Prime 1. I am getting I know I said it many times before, I'm getting the upcoming Spiral Studios King Ghidorah 2019. I'm getting that. So yes, those are the primary companies that I go after outside of X Plus. Even though I'm not going after the Prime 1 GVK stuff, I'm sorry, that's just too expensive. And I have seen some folks actually, they're starting to sell their X Plus Gigantic Series figures for the new stuff that's coming, which is fine. They can do what they want to do. You know, you got the Spiral Studios stuff coming. You got Prime 1 out there. You got this news company, Omega Beast, and they're bringing some giant size figures.
Yeah,
but,
it's crazy.
But for me, I can't abandon the X Plus Gigantic Series. I can't do it. I'm not trying to say that's what they're doing, but I love these things. I love the Gigantic Series from X Plus, and I just can't see myself to part with them. But to answer your question, Samson, Spiral Studios and Roto Kaiju and the Prime 1 gives me like another classic giant size character, kind of like what they did with Gamera. Then I probably go after that one as well. So those are my primary ones I go after outside of the X Plus, and get X Plus is more than enough, quite frankly, considering what they're putting out. But yeah, those are my primary ones: Spiral Studios, Prime 1, and Roto Kaiju. Yeah, they're the ones my paychecks are going to. Yes, they are. Yeah.
John, speaking of tickling your fancy, I noticed that you love books. You love books, whether it be pictures or just novels, anything that has to do with kaiju, but in book form.
Sorry, the volume got all loud there on the music.
What is it that made books such an important part of your collecting, the way that you collect for the family?
Really sorry about that, Sam. So John, that's for you, and basically he's asking you what makes books such an integral part of your collecting journey.
You know, we were talking about Father's Day coming up. Well, growing up, my dad, he was a school teacher for 30 plus years, and so we were surrounded by books. Just rows and rows of books in our basement and upstairs. So that's played a big part. Anything I got interested in, I bought books for. I mean, I was a chemist, so I have a chemistry library. I went to seminary. I have over 3,000 theological books.
Wow.
And so with Godzilla's likewise, I'll get the children's book all the way up to the try to read this and then work my way up to the big tomes, so it's just anything I'm interested in. If I'm really passionate about it, I want to know as much or have as much information around me about it as possible. Great question. Thank you, Samson.
All right. So unfortunately, there is a question for Christine, and because the music was just so overwhelmingly loud, it was louder than your voice, Sam. I hope you don't mind if I just paraphrase for you. But basically, the last question was specifically for Christine, and it was, Christine, how do Muggles feel about you when you tell them that you're in not just a generally male-dominated fandom like kaiju, but also in collecting, but also just a fringe, something fringe like that? How do the normies treat you?
So it's interesting. Usually they think it's really interesting. I haven't really actually got picked on it much about it. They're like, "Oh, really? That's like, how did you get, like, why Godzilla?" And then they would always tell me stories of, "Oh, I used to watch Godzilla back in the day." And some people don't know about Godzilla, and they'd be like, "Giant dinosaur? What? You like dinosaurs?" I'm like, heck yeah, I like dinosaurs. I remember when I was in elementary school, we had a contest in 2nd grade. Who could read the most dinosaur books? So we had this paper pterodactyl, and every time you read every time you read a dinosaur book, you put this egg underneath it. So I had like 3 rows of eggs all the way to the floor. I was into those dinosaurs, man. But no, people usually react pretty well. Actually, at my old job when I was in New York, I used to bring, every time I got a new Godzilla figure, I would bring it into work to kind of show off, and all the girls loved it, and everybody would come over to see what I got next. And I mean, they really like the representations of Godzilla. And actually, kind of a cool story. So when I first moved to California, we hired a company to come and just clean a couple of the rooms out for us. So I was showing the woman around on which specific rooms I wanted to clean, and we had walked by my collection room. So on the way back, she kind of like peeked in, and she was like, oh, Godzilla? And I was like, she was an older woman. I was like, wait a second. Oh, wait, you know Godzilla? She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, me and my husband watch Godzilla movies all the time. She's like, we just watched one. So she came in, she took pictures of all my collection, and I was like, like one of my first times here. So I'm like, I love you. So first she was hired on the spot. So you can come back here anytime. So no, it's been really positive. We'll say definitely a very positive experience. And I mean, I'll share Godzilla with anybody. I always tell people at work or any of my friends, I will talk about Godzilla all day, every day. You got to shut me up because I'll just keep going. I love my toys. I love talking about my toys. I love talking about the movies. So yeah, no, it's been a really positive experience. And I met a lot of other female collectors in the fandom as well, so that was exciting for me because in the beginning you feel like you're all alone. And I remember when I first started collecting, before I was in any of the groups or all that, I felt like that there wasn't anyone else like me who was into that stuff. And then you get online in the groups and you find out there's this huge giant community of all these people that have the same interests, the same kind of passion. So that really helped me out.
Excellent.
It was a great question, Samson.
It was.
Great questions for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for the questions. I really appreciate that you took the time to ask us questions. It was great.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of really good questions too.
Yes.
Had some great discussion topics.
Made us think.
And because I feel a little bit bad about that audio thing, here's Sam saying goodbye,
That's
basically.
it. Thanks for having me, you guys. Everybody out there, have a good night and have a great show to you hosts. Thanks. Sayonara.
There you go. Well, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam, Greg, Ryan, Alex, and Chris. You guys are awesome for submitting those questions. I think we will do more of these in the future.
Absolutely.
However, before we move on, just because at this point, why not, right? We did get one more question in, and I just have to get to it because it wasn't a video question. Robert Hill had a question for us. He was a part of our, monster garage sale that we had a few weeks ago. He asked, what I think it's a general question, but I think it might be just for me. What kind of event would you rather host on behalf of Collect All Monsters? So everybody answer this. A trip to Japan with your fellow kaiju enthusiasts, or B, a local kaiju meetup that is tied to G-Fest in Chicago, but lasts for about 2 full weekends.
Oh, that's a tough question.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I agree with David. I know exactly what David would say.
Japan.
Japan.
I agree. Japan.
Yeah.
Japan.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, Robert.
And if I haven't said this, because I don't try and talk about it a lot on the show or stuff, but basically I run Japan tours and Japan trips. So eventually, once travel opens back up and is safe, there will be opportunities for collectors to go on some collector trips with me, and maybe some of the other Collect All Monsters hosts. We'll see.
Absolutely.
As David likes to say, mimicking the great Tomiyama, of course, there'll be a slight fee. So, and it's going to be way more than slight to go to Japan, honestly.
It will be worth every penny.
Yeah, it will be worth every penny.
Yeah.
Ironically, that's the main reason why I'm not doing the GVK stuff from Prime 1. Don't get me wrong. It's a great set, but all that money that can be put towards that can be put towards a Japan trip. So that's what I'm doing.
That's good money for a Japan trip.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, I think you're never going to get an argument from anybody in this group. And Leslie has not been, but like everybody else who has been, we know his enthusiasm for wanting to go. I actually can't wait to go with Leslie. Like,
me too.
I have this amazing idea for the co-hosts to go and basically film the whole trip and make a travel log that gets essentially crowdfunded by people who love the show. So we shall see. Keith said I'm the best Japan guide. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, he is.
So yeah, a lot of people in the chat right now are like Japan. So
Absolutely.
I mean, we want to go.
Can't
Everybody
wait.
in this group wants to go together, and I want to go with more collectors. I've said this many times. When I came back from my first trip with my wife, I remember talking to her. I think we were still in Japan at the time, and I was like, "Can you imagine what it would be like to see Rich Iso's face as he walks into Mandarake?" and then we went ahead and did it. You know?
And did it. Now, the next 2.0 is going to be Leslie Chambers and Sandra, their face when they get into Mandarake or anywhere.
Or Express headquarters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
already thinking about this stuff,
Yes.
guys.
Wonderful.
I've already got the itinerary half planned.
That's worth the price of admission. And then we'll have a little side trip to Osaka Castle.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Kuriyama Flower Park. We gotta go down the Godzilla
That's
slide.
a long walk. Boy.
I didn't say walk.
Oh. I went around that castle about 4 times. Oh my gosh.
Long walks, yeah.
It was a long walk. We walked from one station to the castle, and through the castle, around the castle, and back out.
Wow.
I was looking for
Kaiju Addict asked, "How much would we recommend to save for a trip to Japan?"
At least.
Great question, and I've gotten this question a million times. And what I'd like to tell people is that I could come up with some basics for you on how much money you should bring, which it would be like a bare minimum for an amount of time. But really, when it comes to spending, if you have the ability to see something you want and just get it guilt-free, that's what I would honestly shoot for. You'd want to be there and you'd want to be able to go, "Oh my gosh, I want that. I'm going to buy it." Not, "Oh my gosh, I want that, but God, I don't know if I have enough money for that," or "I don't have enough money for it." Right. So I would say save your money, bring lots of money, you know. Worst case scenario, don't change it to yen. So you still have your American dollars. So if for some reason you don't spend it, you still have it. But you can do all sorts of awesome stuff for not so much money. And David, when we went in 2019, in February, we were there for a 2-week trip. And in terms of raw cash that I had available, I think I spent under $1,000.
Oh,
so,
wow. Good.
Now that's not including the flight, not including the hotel.
Right.
That's like eating out, going to buy stuff, and that just depends, you know. Like if you have a voracious toy appetite, that's not going to do you very much, you know.
Right.
Like so it really all depends. Sorry for the weird answer there, but you know what I did last time is I said you should definitely bring at least this much money, and then but if you want to spend, you should bring more because it's about the experience, in my opinion.
Right,
you know,
absolutely.
and it's some people it's a once in a lifetime trip. Other people it's a life-changing trip. It changed my life, and I decided I had to keep going back. So I would say treat your first trip to Japan maybe like it might be your only trip.
Right.
That's a great point.
And then save up a lot of money.
Yeah.
Take some money. You know what I did, honestly? Before my first trip, with my wife, I sold a stormtrooper costume and basically gave the guy a deal. He paid me in cash like the next day, and I took like $700 to Japan, $800 to Japan with me that I was able to easily just kind of blow through at my own leisure. Anyway, I don't need to keep talking about this stuff. There's a bunch of people who are saying some awesome stuff in the chat right now. You guys are awesome for watching. We have had a consistent 40 plus people watching us all.
Long show too.
Long show, and it's not quite over yet.
No, it's not,
because that was the end of our Q&A, but now we're going to do our giveaway. So this again is for the Ulala Cube Godzilla, and I think it could even be turned into an Angulus.
Oh, cool.
This was donated by anonymous. Yeah, see, like that's Angulus.
Oh, that's cool. Oh,
and then that's Godzilla. So maybe this is the
neat.
1955 set of this stuff. I'm not really sure. All I know is that if you guys want to win this, we're about to, if you have not already put in hashtag I want it as one word, now's the time to do it because we're about to use the giveaway tool to pick a winner. A whole bunch of people did this already. So don't hesitate to add it right now. I don't think if you add more than one, it gives you a better chance of winning. But we'll give people a second to do that while we wait for a loud car to drive past me. Robert Dwyer says Japan is awesome. We spent about $6,000 on their last trip. Two people, and that included the stuff he bought. Robert doesn't play around when he goes to Japan.
Well, we actually have a couple of episodes, Kyle, special episodes that we did about traveling in Japan and toy collecting Japan. You guys in the chat room who are interested, go back and watch those. They may answer more of your questions in more detail. And I'm sure we'll do another one of these at some point, a Japan travel thing. So stay tuned for that.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. And we're going to hope that this works this time.
It's going to work. It's
going to work.
Time.
There's already a hashtag from James Davis that says, I believe in the tool.
Okay. Well, now it's definitely going to work.
Good luck, everybody.
All right. Let's go ahead and turn the banner off. And let's choose today's broadcast. Put in the I want it. Here we go.
Here we go.
Golden moment. Okay. At least it's got 5 entries.
Wait a minute.
Seems like there was more than 5.
There was way more than 5.
Weren't there way more than 5?
Yeah, there was way more than 5.
I don't know about way, but there's.
I hope it didn't take
the most recent.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe just took the most recent.
Oh, yeah.
It's supposed to take all of them. All right, let's try it again. If you want to win this, now's the time to put I want it in the. I don't know why this doesn't work. I'm gonna have to
do it now. Do it now.
Do it now. That's what I thought. Way more than 5. So
yeah,
if you want it, now's your chance.
Let me go back and
put it in there now. Sorry. I thought that would work.
Everyone who did it before, just redo it.
What's that? Live program. Things happen.
Everyone that entered that hashtag earlier in the show, type it in again now. So hopefully it'll. Yeah, James. James broke it. Hashtag broke it.
You had faith when you shouldn't have had faith. Anyway, well, let's actually talk a little bit more about Japan, just because this will give people a little bit more time. So, a trip to Japan, I want to tell people who are not familiar. Basically, you're dealing with a day of travel to get there. Then you're dealing with a set amount of days that you're there, and then you've got people say a day of travel on the way back, but really you time travel when you come back to the United States.
Right.
Because you can leave Japan at noon on Monday the 14th and you arrive at like 9 a.m. on Monday the 14th back in America.
It's bizarre.
But if a lot of people ask me about trips to Japan, and what I like to say is if you can get away with a week of vacation, you can have a really killer Tokyo stay in 1 week. Yeah. But what I would honestly suggest is 10 days. 10 days is a wonderful amount of time to be in the country, just under 2 weeks. Yeah. And you can sort of spend like a week doing like the main Tokyo stuff. And then you can hop on, if you get a rail pass, you can hop on bullet trains and head off to Osaka, Kyoto, wherever you really want to go to see other stuff outside of Tokyo. All right. I think I've spent enough time vamping. So let's go ahead and refresh this. Try it again. Start collecting those comments. There we go.
Much better. Much better.
All right.
Time restrainers.
Which winner of these 20 entries is going to get it?
Good luck, everybody.
The randomizer.
Beep, 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 beep,
oh,
beep,
man.
beep, 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 beep.
Oh.
Fire. Well,
oh my God.
That's amazing. Robert, congratulations.
Congratulations, Robert.
That's crazy.
for the next drawing, you probably are not going to be eligible for that, but it's because we love you too much. Anyway,
It was for someone else.
That's a trip.
well, we'll see. Anyway, Robert, I know how to get in touch with you, buddy. Congratulations on winning this. And hey, thank you, StreamYard Tool, for eventually kind of working there.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we've wrapped all that up, it's time for our final segment, which is the Monster Showcase. What did we do for Monster Showcase this time, guys?
We did Nature versus Kaiju.
That's right. What did I say last time? I said, well, the weather's turning nice, so let's get out there and see your kaiju in nature. And so we do have that, and it goes a little like this. Very nice. Beautiful work. Nice work, everybody.
Always.
All right. So there you go, guys. That's our Monster Showcase for this particular month. Keep in mind, our next episode, next episode will be Saturday, July 10th. And the hashtag, we want to see your pets with your kaiju. So we are doing My Pet Monsters. Please note the Z at the end because, the toy My Pet Monsters has My Pet Monster has a ton of followers and stuff. So there's just thousands and thousands of entries. Make sure you do the Z at the end. So that's going to be our next hashtag. We want to see your favorite pets, not your favorite pets, your pets with your favorite kaiju. And we need you to send that in before July 4th, before the Independence Day. And that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, we've had 40 plus people watching on Facebook and YouTube and interacting like crazy in the chat. I can't wait to actually go back and watch this where I can pay attention to what people were saying. Thank you guys for being so active in the chat and for taking part in our giveaway. Thanks to those who sent in those Q&A videos. I really like doing those. I think we should do those a couple of times a year for sure.
That's fun.
And we did end up answering them all, so we won't need to do a video in the group. But if we come up with something cool to do before the end of this month, we'll let you know in our Facebook group, which is of course the the Collectible Monsters Monster Collectors. Now, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode.
1 second.
Go for it. What you got, David?
We just have to say that we have to choose after we're done here, we're going to choose our favorite Nature versus Kaiju, and you will be receiving a Collect All Monsters mug. So can't forget that.
What are
With
these
our
lovely
lovely
mugs?
faces on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Our mugs on a mug, as
with
David
us?
likes to say.
Our mugs on a mug. So yeah, so someone's going to win that as well, and we will announce that tomorrow morning whenever I get up on our Facebook group. It'll be pretty early.
Right on. Well,
Oh wait, Samson, here's my mustache. I forgot I to do my mustache.
You got to twirl it a little bit. So
I can't do
the
the mustache.
You can do beard. You just bunch it up around here.
Oh yeah.
Tie
do
right
one of those
here,
little-
tie over here.
Yeah.
You get it. Okay. Well, are my co-hosts ready to wrap this up and say their little blurbs?
Oh yes.
Hit it, David.
I'm going to go first. So if you want to continue this conversation, please join us in our Facebook group, Collect All Monsters, Monster Collectors. And a lot of fun stuff happening there almost every day. So join us, and you too can be a Collect All Monsters, Monster Collector.
And if you're not catching this episode live, let us know in the comments if you've liked this, what you saw, and have any questions from today's episode.
And don't keep us a secret. I know secrets aren't meant to be shared, but in this case, you share the secret because it's awesome. Share us with your friends and family and join us on Collect All Monsters.
Thank y'all so much for watching the show today. And remember to subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoyed watching the show today. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. All right. Well, until next time, our planet may be doomed, our Earth devastated, the monsters are in revolt, and civilization is in chaos. We must unite and collect all monsters.
Monsters.